Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, with the one and only Scorpio in the world, Craig Skidmore, here on HighVibe.tv for Deep Love Tarot, your weekly tarot love horoscope for the week of July 6th through the 12th of 2020. What a weird year. If you've never watched the show before, make sure that you join us on HighVibe.tv. I think it's somewhere down here, but look at all the links down here, especially for our awesome app. We have so much awesome content. Of course, all my exclusive videos, my exclusive daily horoscopes, exclusive weekly sun sign, exclusive weekly tarot, weekly intuitive, and of course, Craig and I do full disclosure, and we got to do things like spiritual dance music, which are free. We have so many free videos too. We have awesome talent on there doing awesome content all the time. Make sure you check it out. Be a member, because that's what supports this show, to be free, and so many other things that you can share to your friends and fam. But if you want all the deep stuff, deep. Go to HighVibe.tv.
Of all the things.
Now. We are here. It is July. And it is quite a time to be alive. How you feeling, Craig?
I am feeling refreshed, actually. Refreshed. I think that things are changing for the positive. At least I'm going to put that out there. Things are changing for the positive. We do have spiritual dance music tomorrow. We're doing a nice Taco Tuesday spiritual dance music.
Yes, we are.
So, we recommend y'all go get some tacos, support a local business, cook them up yourself, celebrate with us. It's a new world. We had that nice eclipse over the weekend.
And that's what we're going to celebrate.
Nice. Exactly.
Is not
that we made it through.
The last two spiritual dance musics have been more about celebrating getting through the eclipse than doing it on the eclipse. Just because I just told people these eclipses were not, you didn't want to bring in dark energy. You wanted to release all of your shadow energy.
Release.
And now we're going to celebrate that.
The demons.
And maybe that's why you feel so refreshed.
I think that is.
Maybe you exercise the demons.
Yeah. Big time.
Woo!
I got out. I got to soak up a lot of vitamin D this weekend. Got to play in a pool for a bit. We got today this awesome dream catcher.
Yes, we did.
You see behind us. This is from Alyssa, and she goes by Reiki Womb on Instagram. She reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and we've been talking a bit, and she gifted us this beautiful dream catcher. It's got some selenite on there. It's got a little amethyst, some citrine.
And the second I was in the front lobby and saw the box, I was like, okay, what's in here? And as I'm opening it up, literally, I don't know what it was, but I had my Instagram open and I saw a message that said Reiki Womb. And I'm like, how did she know exactly the second I was opening this thing up? Do you have cameras on, or are you just that intuitive? I think you just
tapped
that
into
intuitive.
that selenite back there.
It may be, yeah. So we want to thank you for that.
It's beautiful. I couldn't get the whole thing in it, but I mean, I guess I can hold it up now. Good thing I had the piece of it already. But it's this whole thing. I'm stand up now. Woo!
That was a nice catch.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm sure the ladies would be like, "Hey, Craig, why don't you just wear that on the show?"
That's for full disclosure. You got to be a member to see the goods. I don't give it up for free.
Yeah. Well, and I also want to thank IH Squared. They sent us, and last week I shared their awesome tarot deck, the Aquarius deck tarot, and then they sent us some amazing, cool stuff. And I love this deck, and I'm not getting sponsored or promoted to promote it. I'm promoting because I actually keep this as my personal deck right now.
Yeah, his Instagram is amazing. The artwork on there. I think
IH Squared.
Yeah, IH Squared. On
look
Instagram.
it up, and their deck is bad ass. This is the most badass tarot deck I have ever.
Show the back end of it, because you can't really see it when you're
right. And it's the most quality I've ever seen. And look at the Fool. Am I a fool? No. We all are the Fool. But it's it's just honestly the quality, the artwork, the packaging, and we're not making $1 off this. I just want to let you all know, we're over here at High Vibe, we're just straight up, if we see something amazing and cool, we're just going to tell you, bam. So anyway, yeah, so lots of cool, it was a day of showers of gifts. Even Craig, today he was like, did you sign for a there was packages everywhere. Packages were dropped off at all different parts, both garages, the front lobby over. I was like, what the hell is going on today? It's kind of crazy, actually. You gonna hype up you gonna hype up your new speaker?
I'm gonna hype up my new speaker.
Hype up the speaker, bro.
Hey, gotta hype
Hype it up.
I just got it. It was only $69 on Amazon. Some heavy bass and it's waterproof. The Bugani, Bugani. It's only $69. Great deal. Check it out.
Yeah, he even said there was a guy on there who said he put it on a jet ski and it was all good.
Yeah, no, he had pictures of it too.
Wow, he had pictures?
He had pictures.
Well, if you never watched the show before, we're going to go into your love horoscope for this week. And of course, we use a lot of different tarot decks. I'm going to cover the collective and give you the astrology. And then, of course, pull the cards for the collective love reading for this week. And then we go into your different 12 zodiac signs, which are in the High Vibe Gold Cup now. We've upgraded to gold from Red Cup.
I love gold.
Dr. Evil has been in all of our lives lately. Now, and just speaking, somebody had just sent me, I guess, that China just 3 hours ago has just said, now we got the bubonic plague back to come back.
Woo! Party.
And what's kind of crazy is that's what my biggest prediction was for the last 3 years was the plague.
The plague.
The plague.
Bubonic.
Not trying to scare anybody here. Maybe you should find the best love of your life and stop blocking yourself emotionally if you're in a horrible relationship or you're single, because maybe, you know what? The Black Plague is back. All these people putting up all these walls. How you been doing under Mercury Retrograde and Cancer? Been in the emotional waters? I guess he has. He won't respond to me.
Oh, I thought you were talking to the collective out there.
I mean, I guess so. I was talking to you, but you know what? How y'all been doing? I guess I should look at the chat room here.
Yeah, I woke up feeling nice today. I had a fun weekend in the sun. Did a little barbecuing. And I'm feeling pretty good today. Booked a massage for Wednesday morning. You got to treat yourself too. You got to treat your body right. You got to treat your mind right. And that is going to happen in your love life. Once you're feeling good inside, then you can go love people. But it starts with you, always.
I was wondering, how do you counter the bubonic plague?
With massages. Sensual massage.
Right? Masks don't work on the bubonic plague. It's fleas.
Got to wear long sleeves.
Mosquitoes.
And I'm going to just wear my wetsuit 24/7.
Woo! Everybody's going to be in a full bodysuit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird world. Let's go into it. Let's do this collective right now. Right now. Mercury retrograde square Mars.
Boom.
Right now.
Reading.
Oh, it's up there. You're fast. So, as I do this collective reading, I give most of the astrology here. And when it comes to your sun signs, you can watch on High Vibe your sun sign horoscope stuff. I just cover real quick. This is us leaving the Mercury retrograde, but it's not going to happen until the end of this weekend, okay? And so this week with Mercury retrograde, we are going to figure out and truly understand where we're at emotionally. Nobody really knows, especially with the South Node and Sag. But with the North Node and Gemini, right? Mercury is a powerful thing right now for us to pay attention to, and especially with Venus that's in Gemini, and it is going to make some good aspects here, especially I would say the main one is to Chiron, but Chiron retrogrades in Aries while Mars and Chiron meet up this weekend. So Mercury's going to come out of retrograde, and Chiron is going to retrograde, Mars is going to be on top of that. So talk about us dealing with like the wounds of the past, the wounds of our emotions, the wounds, you know what? We need to move forward. This is Mars and Aries, and it's going to be moving forward in ways that look weird. They're not going to look the way that your ego wanted it to, but it's like, just do it. Like, keep moving forward. I did a big Instagram and Facebook post this morning about don't sink your own ship. Keep putting a foot in front of the other, keep sailing, and be excited about the new waters in front of you. There's going to be a lot of things that people in their egos and in their emotions were attached to that you're going to realize just aren't going to work out. So when it comes to love, there's definitely going to be things that maybe you thought were going to happen, aren't. But that's leading you to the new place. And I said, maybe the pirates had it right the whole time. That, with Jupiter, Saturn, and of course Pluto all in Capricorn. And now that Saturn's back in his own house and he's looking at Jupiter, Pluto, like, what the hell have you been doing in here? There's a part of us that there's a little pirate in us that needs to not be afraid to take the quest of life, take risks, and go into places that feel more destined than hard. Because really, Capricorn's not hard. If it's destined, the gate's opened. If you've done the work, the gate's open. But if you hold yourself back, if you become like a little child, because we are a sun in Cancer, we are a Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and hold yourself and you don't know how to, and this is not trying to say get your bootstraps on and just keep moving forward like that. It's much more like these are just things that people with fears of being into much more glorious energy and love, much more glorious energy in their life, and just getting over that insecurity and that fear that really you got to take a look at how do you nurture yourself. We all have to nurture ourselves. Even when you go to a concert or whatever, we all have our little thing that makes us feel more comfortable and safe. We all have our way that we go in any situation in life, right? We're all going to have to realize that we all have to keep moving forward in our lives. And this is definitely with Mars and Aries. It's going to be here until January 5th. It's an extended stay. And it's going to be highlighted with Chiron. This is going to be the only time that Mars and Chiron actually meet here through this extended period and for the next, 2+ years. So, you're coming this weekend into, especially with the moon that will be in Aries, square over to the sun in Cancer. We are dealing with Mars squaring Mercury retrograde too at the beginning of this week. Actually, as we're talking right now, it's starting to square. And then with the moon in Aquarius and Pisces this week, we're going to the end of the zodiac with the moon and then into Aries. So it's like all leading towards this weekend as a major shift point in people's lives. And I would say like a big culmination point since we are so close to ending the whole eclipse cycle. Just because the eclipse happened, the last one, doesn't mean, okay, it's all over. No, we got to get to a new moon, which is going to be the second new moon in Cancer. I'm a double Leo. I don't, I've been through this double new moon in Cancer before. It happened in 2009. But we're definitely emotional creatures, and we're definitely got emotions, but we also are dealing with lots of Capricorn and lots of Aries, and they are ruling the road. So Capricorn and Aries, you got to take steps, you got to take risks, you got to be bold, you got to step in, you got to step out, you got to take a risk, you got to see what's there. You just can't keep playing in your little emotional waters. We're going to be pulling the cards right now. We'll be pulling them cards right now. It was a nice jump. Nice jump. And you don't want to get in crazy emotional arguments and try and fight right now for something if it's not meant to be. Because if you fight for something that's not meant to be right now, I'm just going to let you know, you're just going to be fighting and you're going to just tear yourself and the other person apart. First card that we got for this week for the collective is the Three of Swords in reverse. Oh, that is the heartbreak card reversed. I would say that this is us getting out of heartbreak situations and letting the past of the heartbreak behind. And these are heartbreaks that have already happened. So this is not about a week of like you going, oh no, something heartbreaking is coming. It's like, oh no, I already dealt with heartbreak. Let me move through this shit. Let me get over this shit. Let me get out of this. Why keep replaying the heartbreaks in your life? Whether you're with a partner or you're single. Like there's so much here that's saying like, what? Why would I keep playing the heartbreaks over? Let it go. Our challenge that we got for this week is for the collective, the second house of owning. Yeah, why would we own old heartbreaks? Why would you own that? You know what? Let me pay you with an old heartbreak, please. I've got tons of broken pieces and fragmentation of my heart all over the place. Here, let me just pay with that, my life. Or let me just own that. Let me just, second house is also, where we get really hoardy, like hoarder. Let me just hoard the emotional heartbreaks I've been through. That is not what you're going to do with feeling better, feeling greater in your life, and more importantly, creating and manifesting the abundance of love and just even everything in your life that you want. When you keep holding on to those heartbreaks, it's okay to look at them as lessons, but it's not okay to fucking own that shit. King of Wands in reverse is our outcome this week. So it's like, yeah, we are all in a place where we don't feel like we're really knowing exactly, we feel like idiots about our love life because we don't know exactly the power of where it's going. We feel like maybe we've made mistakes. We feel like we've had to learn a lot, but that's okay. It just means that the overall part of this week is saying, hey, it's okay that you were a freaking idiot. It's okay that you made mistakes. It's okay that it doesn't know where it's going. But don't be afraid of it and don't hold yourself back just because of what's happened, especially with the Three of Swords and that King of Wands. Let's see. I am going to see what is going to be happening. How do we get through this? Wow, Seven of Cups. We need to dream more. There's a lot more options in our life, and I think that this is us dreaming more. Now, this card can definitely feel like a little bit like a nun that's selling you some gold watch that's from an old bishop that doesn't want it anymore. But with the second house there, it's like maybe we need to own the possibilities of the new things in life that are possible, the different worlds that we could all be in. Now, this can get crazy because you don't want to create too many visions and too many worlds, because then it's even harder to make choices. But I would say that this is the way to get through, to stop owning, is don't be afraid to look at the other options or the other opportunities or the other worlds within the relationship or whatever, your single life, and not be so, I think, just so stern and staying in the same place. Like, this is definitely like a non-requirement week. Like, you're not required to do what you don't want to do. You're not required to sit in hell. Let's see what the shadow's going to bring up here. Wow, we got energy of heartbreak that's come, is a parasite that is gnawing away at our life, and we need to let it go. Because no matter what you think, parasites like to feed on hosts, right? So there you are thinking, well, maybe it'll still work out. That's the parasite. Oh, I'm going to keep eating you. Oh, okay, I'll feed you. Stop feeding that bullshit. Stop feeding that ex that you think fucking is going to work out. Stop feeding anything right now, or that partner that's a parasite and keeps bringing you through heartbreak. Woo! What's up with that King of Wands? Well, we had the Fool. I know that people had saw that because I showed the card. So, but we'll add that Fool, and then what we'll do is we'll get one of these. Wow. The Fool that with the King of Wands thought it was at its home, but really wasn't. And that's a big reminder that what you thought is home and what you think is home is not. And that we are all in the quest to finding the new emotional home and the new heart-centered place that will be our real home. Because if you're going to feed that parasitic energy of that old heartbreak still, and still think that maybe it was home, but it is not home to your ultimate happiness, because it reversed your King of Wands and you learned a lot, and that's an experience in life. But I love that this card has a fucking snake right behind it as it's smelling a flower. It doesn't even see the creepy snake that's gonna eat you from behind. Like, don't be a fool and think, oh, this was my home and it's so great. They're so great. Yeah, they're probably screwing somebody else right now. I'm going to get real tonight. I'm going to get real. I don't know if I don't ever get real, but I'm getting real tonight. You know what? They are screwing someone else while you're thinking that, oh, I still have a home with them. Oh, yeah, they're making their home sweet home, fucking somewhere else. Astrodice. That was like a mic drop moment, but the Astrodice came in. We got Virgo, Jupiter. Ooh, what's that? 11th house. Ooh, this is us exploring other people's realities, other social aspects, other people, and we could be a little finicky here, but Jupiter can be restricted in Virgo. It's a detriment place for Jupiter, but I would say that it's a reminder to look at other worlds, look at other realities here. Stop staying on the same reality that's not connecting to what you want to connect with anymore. Stop trying to fix and watch a TV that is not working. Like it's not gonna fucking work. Like you're gonna have to go look and maybe on a different device. You're gonna have to go buy a new one. You're gonna have to go. Like, this is where we need to stop trying to fix broken shit. Jupiter saying, I'll fix broken shit by actually opening the door to stuff that is not broken.
Yeah, and it's also getting out of that victim mentality. Yeah, you may have been hurt. We all get hurt, but you can't just sit there and have that self-pity. You got to dig yourself out, and you got to go and explore. You know, you might feel comfortable in that home that you've created of this sorrow, but it's time that you clean house. It's time that you get out, and it's time that you make new connections. Because people get hurt too. Maybe you can build a connection on how much you both got hurt or how your ex has screwed you over. It doesn't matter how, as long as you just start building and going forward.
Well, and especially even if you're in a relationship, you can get really hurt and then be in a heartbroken relationship and continue to think, well, we've worked through it, but then there's always that tattoo that just, that's up to you though. But is it parasitic is the big question. And do you just keep feeling like you're the fool? And you know, even the person that is the parasite feels like the fool sometimes, you know, like, gosh, why am I doing this still? Like, why am I doing this to this person? There's going to be a lot of that stuff for especially partners. And then single people, it's like, well, get over your fucking past and get over any of the fears that you have as well as about, you know, feeding into any fear that you have about, I would say, you know, the fear of love just going into fucking crash mode. It's like, that's because you're still looking at the past crash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that could come down to a lot that you haven't done that internal work to get to that foundation of not being so afraid, not being terrified of taking that leap, of putting your faith and putting your energy into someone else.
I mean,
it just takes time.
In life, effort. Sometimes you just have to, you know, just highway to the danger zone it. Yeah, fucking, that's the only way.
I just say grab the bull by the horns.
Oh, I like, you know, I feel the need for speed. Boom. What's the first zodiac? I see that we already got 1,000 people. We will do the 1,000 collective reading, but I always like to pull one sunshine first, and the first one is going to be the Pisces. The fishes are swimming. Look at that! Look at the fish tail behind me. It was faded. The fishes, the good old fishes. You gotta have a good fish in your life. That's what the Pisces would say. I'll be the best fish you ever had. Just don't cook me and eat me. Okay, cook me and eat me. All right, Pisces. Hey, it's Aries. It's Capricorn. It's Cancer. You know, love is a big question on your mind. It's in your 5th house. But, you know, there's that whole part of, I hate to say proving it, but that 2nd house is that sensual, that Taurus nature. And with Mars and Chiron here, there's a lot about when it comes to love and when it comes to happiness and when it comes to the world you live in, these are all kind of mixing into a hard pot here. It's like, okay, you want love, but does it fit your world? And what are you ready to own? What are you ready to also showcase and show your power and show your worth? And does it work with the world that you want to be in, the partnership, or the kind of person that you want to be with? There's a lot of questions. They're coming to a big culmination this week, and whether you're ready to own it or not. What are you ready to own? A happy world without the world being the way, but you're happy? Or are you just ready to just go live in a world, but you're not happy? Like, I mean, there's a lot of, like, you having to really go, what is the world that is truly the one that I want? And what is that's going to be happiest? And you are resetting your home life with Venus that's been retrograded and come through, and it's still in shadow in your 4th house of the North Node here. You have to focus on your emotional foundation here. Your first card that you got this week is the King of Wands in reversed. So, you know, it's like you are coming into this week kind of feeling, I would say, weak or helpless or past energies of love not going the way that you've wanted to. And you're trying to find that strength. You're trying to find that power. You might feel like an idiot a little bit because you don't know exactly what's going on. King of Wands has been pulling up reversed a lot just already today. So in order to get that power back, you have to be willing to step forward into it and not feel like an idiot and see what's there. You got to learn the lesson to step into the power of love. The power of love. This is the issue though. The void off course moon, something's missing emotionally. So I would say that's your challenge. It's almost like love has not gone the way that you've wanted to. And I would say if you're in a relationship, it would feel like you are in massive stagnation. If you're single, it'd feel like maybe you've been hermiting too much. I would say that there's just something that's just been so off in the love department for you that you know, and I'll be honest, Pisces keep that shit really fucking secret. You guys are the little secret ones out there. And so are you going to face this? Are you going to fulfill the cup, or are you the block is sometimes what you're going to have to ask yourself too, because are you willing to really stand for what you really want, or do you play the victim of like, I'm not emotionally fulfilled, but I'm not ready to go stand into what I really want? Your overall card that you got is the Ace of Pentacles. This is definitely a new reality, and this is also the ultimate coin that is coming up and giving all of the freshness of new vitality and earth and beauty, and to be able to create something very beautiful. But you have to be willing to reset and start anew, and whether that's in a partnership or whether you're single in a whole new direction, or you have to do some sort of major reset with your love life here, because it looks like it's been going down a path of emptiness here. And the way you get through that void off course moon is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. This is how you get through this emptiness, is stop being the victim, or stop looking at the past victimization that happens within yourself, or stop going to places that, you know, you already know that it's not going to fulfill you, or stop staying in the place that you know it's not going to fulfill you and not heal you in that way. You know, this card definitely can be like feeling like you just kept getting a bad hand and a bad hand, but it was more like you kept accepting the bad hands instead of moving to the new table. Now, your shadow mirror card is the anger and chains. So yeah, I would say that you have felt very stuck, and there's a frustration that you're not in your true happy place. And this definitely deals with attraction, because of the fact that King of Wands is attracting what it wants, and it has mastered that. So it's like you feel like you're, I don't know, I'll be honest with you, I'm channeling this, but it almost feels like you're like, gosh, I'm not that into my partner really as much as I thought I was. And it's much more in the love department. Of course, you can love a partner because of the way they wash the car out front, but like, what about like the deep stuff? What about the other stuff too? And when it comes to this Ace of Pentacles, you did pull the Death card reversed. Interesting. Here you are trying to get this brand new and great reality, but there's the Death card in reverse, and it's almost like there's a deep fear of putting an end to something to start something new, and that's going to keep you at a crossroads that you won't be able to move into anything when you keep staying in the space between spaces.
It's reminding me of a yin and yang sign right there. Those two.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting because, you know, there's that squid energy here, and that when you allow the squid to kind of pull and take you, like actually like how, I forgot that painting that Kim did.
To your left.
But, you know, Kim does a great painting of like letting the squid pull you down and take you. And it's like you're not willing to allow the energy to just take you into this beautiful new beginnings. It's like, why? Your fear. You're afraid of a massive ending, a massive death. You're afraid of just completely also seeing the end of whatever that life might look like around you, of the partnership or your life that you have to enter into something new that you have to confront this week. You did get the moon in Sag in the 4th house. So this you have to open up your emotions for real. You have to really let your beliefs or your emotions out. You really have to express your emotional, and then you have to open up the emotions that you haven't yet, the ones that you want to experience, instead of there's almost like, I feel like Pisces are just like, you got to go on the adventure to the emotional place to figure out what's going down, because there's no other way. You're going to have to know. You're going to have to ask your partner, or if you're single, you're going to have to ask that person that you want to find out. You need to figure it out. You just can't keep imagining. You have to actually go experience the feelings that you want to have. You can't just keep holding it back.
Yeah, and that fear of death, I mean, that can be scary, because it might be, you think that fear of death is you're going to be losing a piece of yourself. And that's not true. You're actually going to be growing from that death. That's going to become the soil. That's going to become the nutrients of this new life, of this new love that you're able to let blossom and grow. It's going to be a healthy soil, because you're going to move through that death healthy. It's going to be a nice turn of events, because you're going to actually be able to, let's see. You're going to actually be able to implement that into your life, because it's going to be a healthy growth. You're going to actually be able to move forward in a healthy manner, and you're not just going to be looking back on it dwelling.
As you said that, somebody said, I don't know why, it might not be related, but I thought it was funny, like a hot dog contest for Kitty? Hey, you know, I always wanted to enter into a hot dog contest because I do like hot dogs, by the way. And I think, and it's always weird because if you ever notice, it's like the thinnest people that win the competition. I was just
Joey
like,
Chestnut just won again, 13 titles.
13, wow.
He's from California, also San Jose.
I got a feeling I could have done that. Maybe in my youth, but not now. But
What?
the hot dog competition.
Oh.
I don't think I could do it now, but I could have been a hot dog champion and star. We're going to do that 1,000 collective reading. Thank you for 1,000 of you that are watching here live on YouTube. And of course, I wish I had a tracker of how many people are on highvibe.tv right now watching, but I just want to remind all the people on High Vibe, I love you all very much. So when Craig gets this up, let's do this on center cam when you get a sec too, Craig. We're going to have to look directed to the eyes. Little Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. Look into my eyes. Don't look into my eyes. All right. Maybe you want to. This is going to be a reading where I want you to pick somebody that you're thinking about right now. But you better have been talking to this person, have interest. They have some sort of interest. There's at least, it could be from a dating app. It could be your partner. It could be somebody that you're dating. It could be somebody that you're talking to. But like, you have to be talking. You can't be just like, you know, throwing up, you know, anybody that you haven't talked to or anything. And, well, let's see what that will be. That's not a connection. I mean, that's a connection in your imagination. But what connections are you that you have, that you talk to, that you're interested in, and you want to find out what's there? So I want you to envision that person, and it can only be that person. You can't use this reading on, you know, oh, well, it feels more like, you know, that other person. Now you got to stay with that one person. You got 5, you got 4, you got 3, you got 2, you got 1. All right, let's see. And you better hold that person right there. Boom. I'll give people one more second because I know people sometimes can switch. It's Gemini time, North Node. Here we go. Let's see what happens here. All right. First card that we got here is the 2 of Swords. This is where it almost feels like this person is on the fence. You don't know which direction they're going. So there's a lot of questions of, does this person like me? Do they not? Where are they going? Or they've told you that they're in between spaces and they don't know where they're going and they still have to make a choice in their life and they haven't made it. So it almost feels like this person is kind of on the fence about things, but you really don't know. It's like personal life things, or it could just be like they're stuck between places and they feel like they're stuck, but really, are they really? Maybe they're just too afraid to make choices at the moment right now, or they're waiting on something, but it's not showing up. It also, you know, relates to you as like, are you waiting? Are you sitting there? Are you finally going to make a choice whether you're going to sit and wait or are you going to move on? The challenge with this person in this situation is the first house. The identification of who they are, what they want in their life, definitely with that 2 of Swords. So it's like the question is, they don't know what they want. It might not be that they don't want you, but it might be more like they just don't know really what they want in their whole entire love life or just their whole story. And so they're kind of going through a, I don't know, you know, and that could be hard because when somebody's first house is not defined and you have a 2 of Swords there, I mean, that's somebody who has no idea. Like, and so maybe don't take it personally, like as if they don't like you, but much more like they're not making a choice right now. We'll see what the outcome to this is going to be, which is the 7 of Swords. Not the best card, you know, because it almost feels like what I think they're not telling you is what you're feeling. You're feeling that in the choices, you don't know the whole story. And they're telling you that it's simple stuff when there's a lot more complex things going on than you realize. Deception sometimes too, but it may not be the ultimate deception. Just, you know, it's their personal life. They're allowed to have that shit. You might be reflecting that back too, though. 2 of Swords. Wow, look at this. 3 of Swords in reversed. Yeah, maybe, are you really heartbroken over something that isn't defined? Like, maybe you need to let go of this whole, like, gosh, I really want it to be this way, or I'm not happy because it's not, you know, it just is what it is. And I think that, you know, because it's not defined, there's nothing to be heartbroken about. Like, it hasn't become anything, or it never went anywhere anyway, because you're at this point where you're like waiting. Hurry up and wait. What's the shadow to this? Oh, peaceful among the thorns. I think the reason why you keep trying to stay or keep thinking about this person is because you know that they're in a place that is not a good place, or they're connected to an energy of one of the decisions between you and the other story that you already know is not the best place, but they're almost cool with it. And you know, but you don't know all the facts. With that Seven of Swords there, there's that kind of weird thing that you're not knowing. And it's like, you need to realize that you don't know what's up there. And I especially, they're almost like content with it, but you can't save them from that. You're not the savior. They have to realize they're in their own shitty situation. And do you really want to take on somebody who's been battered and chose you second after being battered? And the Lover's reversed with that Seven of Swords. Ooh. I would say that, yeah, this thing is definitely not something that this person's willing to even show up fully for. And you're not getting all the info, and they're on the fence, and they're on the fence about ridiculous shit. And even though you know that, and even though you're heartbroken a little bit about that, there's no reason to be, and it's none of your thing. And you know what? They'll come around whenever they come around, and you need to just stop trying. Just let go. Move on. Sorry to say. Cancer, 8th house, Neptune. Yep. This is definitely an obsessive, kind of dreamy, emotional. This could be my home, but is it my home if it's not showing up? Is that really that comfortable? No. And that also can make you emotional, and it can make you also waste a lot of emotion and be too sensitive emotionally, or give away so much of your soul to something that you're not getting much back in return. I feel like you're not getting much back in return. Maybe nothing. It is at 8th house. It is all or nothing.
And that's never a healthy situation to be in on any part. Either you're giving it all and they're giving nothing, or they're giving it all and you're giving nothing. I mean, there needs to be that balance within it. There needs to be that communication. Are you going to sit there and kind of be comfort? What was that, being comfort in the thorns?
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Like, are you just going to sit there?
Peaceful among the thorns.
Peaceful among the thorns.
The new song I'm coming out with.
Right. Yeah. You know, are you going to sit there and just kind of sit there and get pricked a bit and kind of fall in love with almost the pain that surrounds you? Or are you going to cut those thorns and get the hell out of there?
It's just like we just did that TikTok and our Instagram for promoting this today. It's like, hey, Craig, are we going to end with Mercury and retro deep in these emotional waters? Or are you just going to keep staying in those emotional places you don't want to?
Short answer, no. Don't do that.
Damn, he got all Scorpio.
No.
I like that.
Get on out of there.
I like when Craig gets a Scorpio out. We need more of that. Aries. We need more of that. You guys need to encourage him in the chat to fucking get more fucking Scorpio, especially for tonight's show. We're only 2 signs in, and I need the next 10, this sign and the next 11. I need
10, 11, and 12?
Yeah, we need it. We need it.
I need to boost up on my electrolytes.
Boost up on them then. Jeez. All right, Aries. Well, there's a lot of work and home complications going on, and what do you want and how you look about your life is definitely kind of like learning to just take things as they are. But especially, I think that for you, where you live, where your home life's at, where your emotions are at, are they in alignment with where you're really trying to go in your life? Or are you trying to stay with a partner? Or are you even picking just totally partners that have nothing to do with your journey and where you're going in your life? It's almost like, would that make sense? I think that you have to really start to go, what makes sense? Where do I really want to go in my life? And just narrow in and focus on that. Mars is in your sign now. And with Chiron there, you don't need to come across as a victim, but you have to come across as somebody who's willing to hold the space for yourself of, it's not usually, this is not normal. Remember, Chiron just entered here in the last couple years into Aries, and it played around in 2019 especially, and here it is officially all 2020 and all through most of this half of this whole, I mean, it's an 8-year cycle, so, in Aries. And so I just wanted to remind Aries, it might not always be the same power that you're used to coming in or how you see relationships, but if it's in alignment emotionally and where you want to go in your life, it makes sense. And I think that you have a lot of emotions that still need to be spoken about. You don't want to wait till this Mars exact squares here just on Tuesday alone. You don't want to wait for Mercury retrograde square Mars. Like, that might you be beating somebody up about something, or you projectile vomiting emotionally. Be careful of that. First card that we got for you this week is the Justice card reverse. So you feel like things are just tilted unfair, or they're just not maybe going the right direction right now, or you might feel like, you might feel out of balance right now, or you might feel like it's hard to find anybody who's treating you equally or fair at this moment right now. And I would say that that's going to be taking a look deeply at, why? What is the evidence that leads to that? Is it misread, or more importantly, is it really that just? It is a reversed justice card. So it's almost like, are you really ready to go to war and build a case for something or stay in a relationship that you keep building a case for that there's nothing there? Or are you going to continue to demolish a relationship that's great, that you just are trying to find every way you can to get attention or something like that? Or if you're single and you're not seeing anybody, like, are you just totally creating all these rules and laws that block you from love and happiness? Like, come on, Aries, come on. Some weird situations there. Chiron. Oh, well, I was talking about Chiron. Oh, and you got that as your challenge, that, it might feel really weird right now. It might feel like you have to hold on to this energy that you don't want to, or it's just not going the way that you like. But there's a lot of healing in a new approach of how you enter in with your boldness and your direction and how you just get in there. It doesn't have to be, remember, Chiron's a warrior, so it's not like you still can't be a warrior, but it's like a much more human element. Like, show the human side to yourself, and not from this unjustified, I feel unjust, I feel like I'm not being heard, or I don't, it's like, you need to just chill on that, like, justification process of things right now. Let's see this overall. The Four of Swords, where it feels like home. Don't fuck up anything that really does nurture you and take care of you. But also, if that's missing in your life, pick the partner or pick the person, or be around energy that really feels like, you can just like really rest your head and it feels like home. You can really just like let go and not have any worries. That's where things are going. But it's whether or not you're going to make the moves towards that place. You might, if you're in an uncomfortable place, and if you're in a location where you don't want to be, a city that you don't want to be, even a state, like, you got to realize, like, is this relationship really that good? Is this really going to get me where I really want to go in my long-term life? Those are big questions for you right now. You did pull the Death card over that Chiron. Ooh, this is definitely changing you forever in a way that, I think you're putting to death the victim, and I think that you're bringing out the great warrior healer that you are, and the power that you are, and also getting over anything of insecurities, I would say, or feeling odd or weird of who you might think you are. You might think you might look weird. Aries are going through a Chiron in their sign, right? You look in the mirror and it looks like a funhouse sometimes, and you're like, what? But it's not. Nobody's looking at you that way. It's yourself. Your shadow that you're going through is the Masquerade. Ooh, with that Justice. Yeah, it's like you're covering up really good whatever you feel unjustified about or what's unfair. But I think that that's just like a mask for the truth of this deeper sense of trying to deflect the energy off your own self, or deflect from just the basic understandings that, maybe you don't feel as confident as you usually do right now. And so don't try and, build up some war case right now about something because you want to go show off your power to prove anything right now, or even approaching a new person. You don't need to prove it that way. This is about a new approach, and it's a deeper approach. And you don't need to put the mask on that's unbalanced and unwarranted and unjustified. And, with that Four of Swords, you did pull the Judgment card. Ooh. But this is not a bad card. The Judgment card does deal with the calling from God that truly comes down and rises people from the dead to get a bigger calling. And with that Four of Swords there, and even in this deck here, the Illuminati Tarot, there is something to say about what feels divine, what feels like godly energy, and what has godly energy around it. You must, focus on. If it feels just like ungodly or just like not connected to spirit at all, like, you gotta... If you're still trying to teach them Astrology 101, Tarot 101, and even tell them that there's a God, well, red alert, North Node in the first, and Aries. Wow, okay. Can't get more Aries than that. Holy shit. I think that this is about you really starting to, you need to let people know what you want from them. Just do this in a way that's like a true knight warrior, right? Somebody that has compassion, but an understanding, but still gets direct to what it wants. But I think this is about direct motion this week, direct action, taking action on things that you must, but in a pure space. Like you don't need to create a chaotic situation that's unwarranted, unnecessary. You can get to the point without creating all this other dramatic flutter that it almost feels like, you know, I don't know why, like a crazy beehive that's just surrounding you that you don't need to bring those with you. You don't need to bring the crazy beehive with you, Aries. Like just fucking get direct, get to the point, get to what you need, and don't get too crazy emotional about it either. But you can get emotional, just not where you start throwing, you know, fireballs, you know, like you don't need to be Bowser. You can be cool being Yoshi right now, or you can be cool being Mario or Luigi, but Bowser's not the one to play this week.
Don't be Bowser.
I was playing Mario Kart 8 on my Nintendo Switch, and I was kicking butt as Bowser.
Don't be Bowser.
I'm done with playing as Link. I'm done.
But you got to address these issues. Maybe you haven't been treating yourself correctly, and that's kind of inhibiting different relationships. You haven't been feeling right because you're not appreciating or you're not worshiping yourself. You're not looking at yourself as the goddess or the god that you are. Maybe you've lost that confidence within yourself, and it's time to tap back into that energy. Time to tap back into who you actually are, so that you can have a healthy love life. You can have that relationship that you actually want and that you actually deserve. You can't forget who you are, and you can't forget that power that you actually have. Even if you haven't been treating yourself well, you can easily turn that around. It just takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of effort. Just do that. A little bit of time, a little bit of effort.
It always takes a little bit of effort to do that, but it's like, he's right. It's like you already know who you are. Just continue to be that instead of having, you know, the doubts about that, or you don't need to prove it to people. You just need to be it, and other people will see it.
Yeah, it's easy to second guess ourselves when we put ourselves into situations and go through that day-to-day life.
Capricorns. It's a cap story.
Caps. Cap.
Oh, my precious flock of sheep, as I am going to herd you into questions of your relationship life right now. Big questions. Mercury retrograde still in Cancer with the sun here. All right, Capricorns, you got a lot of questions about your love life, and you're also, you know, Mercury's not really the worst retrograde here in Cancer, especially. I can get into the science all day, but I'm just going to tell you it's not the worst Mercury retrograde, but it is square Mars, and it is in your emotional house, and Mars is at the bottom of your chart. So, you know, it's like you've dug yourself into some pretty deep emotional situations here, and you're trying to figure out how it's going to work out. Whether you're in a partnership, do you stay, do you go, or how do you adjust things? If you're single, do I go, where's the next round? Where's it all going? I don't think you're going to figure this out till this weekend. There's definitely going to be a lot of emotions that are going to be intense. This moon's going to square Cancer, Sun, and Mercury when it's coming direct, and Chiron's going retrograde in your fourth house. I prepare for some emotional protection just because of the fact that, you know, with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in your sign retrograde, you know, this is definitely a major demand in your life that you do take risks in order to get what you want in your life. But are you prepared? And these are going to be tests emotionally that you haven't gone through before, especially with relationships. And with all this sixth house stuff with the North Node and Venus, I'm going to say, at least this is saying, like, continue understanding what your life is doing and what life you want to have. Because if your life is kind of floaty right now, that South Node and Sag, nothing's going to go the way you want emotionally. You need to have some sort of structure, and you need to have some sort of, more importantly, a routine that's taking you to something that does feel exciting to make a relationship understand how it will fit or stay fitting. But if you're kind of in loosey-goosey mode, which is not a typical Capricorn thing, but it's much more Capricorn-y vibes right now because of the South Node and the 12th and all this fourth house stuff, like, I think that you need to realize, like, you know, this is a major test for you, and whether or not you're ready emotionally, one, and two, if you're ready emotionally to deal with the truth of where you're at with partnerships, and if your reality can fit them or not. Your first card is the Temperance card in reversed. So I would say that this is definitely going to be, a week to where the beauty that you've wanted to see or that you've been experienced or that you want to have in your life, there's something taking you in a different direction. It's definitely a moment where the schedules might be off, or, you're going to have to look at how you're going to have to kind of reconstruct your life here a little bit, I would say. It's not all formed right. There's not a perfect form right now in your reality and your relationship life. And I would say that that's what you need to kind of start to look at things like. And that needs to all be figured out. You got the 9th house of faith. So you got some belief issues here. It's almost like you're believing that just because you're in a moment of, changing to, even earth changes, right? Like fires happen, right? To clear out some of the parts of the forest. Earthquakes happen to change the landscape, like there's just moments in life, but you got to keep positive faith here. I almost feel like also you have to kind of understand where you want to go. Cause I think that part of it is you do know where you want to go, but maybe you're not willing to really fully own that belief of where you want to go with this. I think that maybe if you're just too kind of open in your life, like nothing's going to happen. And that's emotionally needing to be defined. You're a Capricorn, Aries, 4th house. You did get the Strength card in reverse. Yeah, there's a lot overall of not feeling the power from within this week, or not feeling strong enough, or not believing in your strength to really, see the things that you want to. It was interesting that my guides were just instantly like, you got to wear protection emotionally this week, because I think that this is a very sensitive time for you, and this is a very emotional time, and these are very tricky decisions and very tricky situations. You did pull that Judgment in reverse with that 9th house, so don't go start judging either and believing somebody's unjustified or wrong or a bad person or anything because of your own, insecurities or issues that are going on. But at the same time, what is fair for your life and what you do need to open up, you need to do. If you're in an unfair situation or you're in a relationship that you don't believe in and you don't feel like it is really working out and it is not going good and you don't get strength from it, and this is definitely that moment of that restructuring, you definitely got to pay attention to that. You just can't keep justifying and believing in something that's not justified. It's funny. I think both readings, I kind of had that right before this. Your shadow stuff going on is forgetting yourself. Yeah, it's almost like you're forgetting yourself, or maybe you're obsessed with somebody, or maybe you're thinking that person or your partner is the one that defines you, or this new person or relationship defines your life. It's like, no, you have your own life. But that doesn't mean you still can't be in relationships. You know what I mean? So this could go either way. If you're single and you have nothing going on in your life, like you got to remember who you are and what you're doing here, so you can meet with another partner that already has their identity. Because two people coming together with no identities is like probably the worst tragedy of all time. I think Romeo and Juliet is proof of that. And they identify through their families, not themselves. Especially if you watch the remake with Leonardo DiCaprio. This isn't the easiest to, wow, you pulled the Temperance reverse again. So 2 Temperance reverses definitely are saying, the waters are not running the way that you want to. The earth is not flowing the way that you want to, but there's probably major reasons for this. These are deep emotional blocks that you're going to have to face. And these are things that you need to come to the surface with in your life. And you got to get back to what you really want in your life, and anything that's not going the way that you want to, you have to change that. You have to believe in that. And you have to have some hope, and you have to open up new doors instead of staying, I would say, frozen. You have Mercury, which is definitely communication in your environment here in the 4th house, and it's in Capricorn. So it's the tough emotional conversations that you need to have. And you also have to look at the emotional environment that you're in, and if this is the structure that you want to continue to have, and you have to have those hard looks, those hard understandings. You got to also be bold enough to direct and identify a plan of where you're going emotionally with things. And if the plan doesn't meet up, then it doesn't meet up. And so, but if you're unclear on that, this can definitely just feel like you don't know where you're going. Mercury in the 4th in Capricorn doesn't know where it's going unless it has a plan. So.
Oh, with all those reversals, because what, those 2 Temperances and a Strength card in reverse?
Yeah.
Correct?
And
yeah,
Judgment reversed.
It's and
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's big internalizations for sure. The good thing is that it's easier to change yourself than it is to fix another individual that you're in that partnership with. So maybe if you take those steps to kind of fix whatever's been bothering you about yourself, or maybe that you've been kind of rubbing your lover, your partner the wrong way with certain things that you're doing. Maybe it's time to actually look at yourself honestly and fix those issues. And if your partner has some issues too, they kind of feed off of each other sometimes. When we start picking up bad habits, our partners kind of pick up bad habits as well. We kind of start letting things slide, and then it starts to snowball, and then all of a sudden, shit hits a fan and we don't know what the hell is going on. But if you start doing that, there's a good chance that partner might follow. Kind of lead by example type of situation. Right the ship first, and then hopefully they will come sailing along with you.
Come sail away.
Come sail away with me.
Geminis.
Double down, Gemini.
Gemini problem. Gemini problem. Interesting time to be a Gemini. Venus, remember, is still in your sign. It's been here for a long time. North Node just entered May 5th. Going to be here till... that's an 18-month cycle. I would say, though, that all this Aries here in your 11th house and dealing with all of the 8th and 2nd house stuff going on, I'm just going to say this. There's deep needs that you need to have in your life, and you're going into new worlds to try and find them, but it might not be the world that you thought it might be. You need to really rethink, where you're putting your energy right now in relationships, and thinking that maybe changing your world will change the relationship. It's like taking, I don't know. That's like, I was trying to think of a really bad relationship. I was going to say that's like taking Britney Spears and Kevin Federline and trying to put them into China and say that it'll work there. Not gonna work by just changing the world that you live in, Gemini, because that's the issue here is you want to change worlds mainly because you want to try and figure out, maybe that'll change a love situation, or, you want to change the environment so much, right, of your love life. But it's really about the value of whether or not you're getting the value fully, and if you're really even deeply emotionally embedded all the way. Because there is something to say with Saturn here. There's like, maybe I'm not. Maybe you're not getting your full potential. Mercury Retrograde is going to stop by this weekend and come direct. And for you, you're going to have this whole new understanding of a new world that is the value that you want to have, but maybe it's not the world. Maybe it's the understanding of so many things that you weren't understanding yet. Chiron retrograde is going to show you that you thought you understood the world you lived in. You thought you understood the world maybe of a partner too. But I think that you're realizing that all this right now has been leading with a Venus that retrograded in your sign, North Node in your sign, and now we've finished the eclipses, and now we're going to see this big square from the moon with Chiron retrograde, and we're going to see it with Mars in square to not only Mercury, but also the sun in your second house, that, you create a world through the world that you create of your value, not through trying to save anything or trying to hopefully just change things up, or even being around the wrong people, that don't really value you, or maybe you don't know how to get along with people and you're holding on to somebody, or you're holding on to some energy that just is not flowing with the world that you know that you're supposed to live in. And you're wondering, why is my world not going the way I want to? Look in the partner that you were trying to be with, or you were with, or that you're talking to. And if you think an escape on a UFO or a plane right now to another place, another country, another fucking city, another state is going to save you, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not going to do it. You got the Page of Pentacles upright. I think that understanding the value, understanding what amazing power and beauty and grace that you hold, you have to be willing to hold it. It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to speak it. And it's another thing to do it. The page just delivers the message and gives the message over and also has an understanding of it. So sure, you might have that, but are you willing to do more than just that? Because it's almost like with Gemini, maybe you're just kind of like have this great idea about it all, but it's like still like, well, one day it'll change, or one day they'll change, or one day I'll be in a relationship again, but I don't really think I can, or I still talk to... Geminis are all over the place with love right now. Just gonna be honest, because you still got Venus in the North Node in the same sign of your signs. In Gemini, it's hard to gauge where they're going. And you need to realize that you need to gauge where you're going much more off a place of better value in your life, instead of like also obsession or I can't leave, or, you know, like you got some challenges, and you got Scorpio here. I think that that's your issue. There's definitely not the full commitment that you want. I think that you're probably challenged about seeing the transformation you want. And I'm sorry that you just can't change your world, and that's going to change the deeper feelings. Like this is, and no escaping. Like you have to realize like you're either all about it or not. There's no such thing as like, and if you're trying to change somebody from like a partnership to a friend right now, I would stay away from that shit. You know you're just going to keep playing the same fucking circle. You got the Empress in reverse. This is not good. I don't know what it is. What are you doing, Gemini? Like, you know, here's you got the Page of Pentacles. You know what's good, but then you don't want to actually be the embodiment of the Empress that actually does things with it and creates that amazing space. It's almost like attachment issues, attaching so many things to so many outcomes that are not willing to just look at, I need to make a fucking major transformation and just put, it's also endings. It's also like looking at the sex. It is Scorpio and your challenge. 5 of Cups reversed. Ooh. The way you get through this is stop thinking that, oh, well, maybe it was just a bad experience for so long that it will eventually turn around. This reversal is saying, no, you haven't accepted the fact, you haven't let the cups run all the way out that need to. Not all of them. And it's one of those weird situations. When you get a Scorpio card with a 5 of Cups reversed, it's almost like not willing to fully realize what doesn't work and move on and take what's best and just move on. It's like, no, I'm going to continue to keep a little bit in here and not. You're playing with gray. That's what you're doing. And 50 Shades of Grey came out because of people that are repressed. And you pulled the artificial heart. Ooh! So you know your greatness, but you're willing to give that to some artificial bullshit? Woo! Or you're acting like you like somebody, or you're acting, you're like playing a game, playing a part. Like, I like it, but no, I mean, you know, like, let me hold this together because I don't want to lose it and put off a fucking, that is more false than anything could be. I'm going to call you out, Gemini. You don't fucking fake, especially because your challenge is Scorpio being real. So I'm going to fucking give you some Scorpio. And we got Craig here. I'm sure he's about to drop some shit on you. And we're you know, right in a second. Actually, let's have him drop some shit right now. What do you say when somebody's fucking false fronting shit to hold you there to make you think something and then not really being that way?
Well, that's what I was picking up. I was like, you can't fucking fake the funk. It's either real, you're in, or you're out. It can't be that bullshit. You said in the gray. Scorpio does not reside in the gray. It's black, white, in, out. Are you in or you're out? It's time to make the decision. Are you going to empower that sexiness of yourself? Are you going to actually let that sex, the one that you need, that good, heartfelt, body, rattling sex in? Because if you're residing in the gray, that shit ain't going to be there. Because your heart's not in it. Your body's not in it. They're not going to be in it. You got to go full force, always.
Always. Yeah, that are, or you're dealing. I'll give Gemini some credit because you know what, Geminis are great people. It's not like you're a bad person because Geminis take this shit the wrong way. They can hear something and, oh my God. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who's falsifying their heart to you, and they've proved that many times, and you're still giving them that fucking goodness. But there's also the twin thing that you're doing that too. Let's see what that Empress reversed. Why'd you get that? Well, you pulled the Hermit reversed. Ooh. Okay. I think that this is just totally not following any wisdom at all or your greatness at all and just giving it all away. And you're giving it to somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're really doing, and they really actually don't fully care as much as you think. This could be just somebody you're dating, somebody that you're... But, you know, the weird thing with Geminis, especially because you've just gone through a Venus retrograde in your sign and it's still in shadow, you're dealing with very, very weird situations. Very weird. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm here to call spade to spade. That it doesn't matter if you've been married for fucking 20 years. It's got weird. You haven't seen a North Node Venus with a retrograde in your sign, okay? You haven't seen it without the eclipses since 2004. So actually that would mean since 1996. So I'm just trying to say that, you know, you need to be a little bit wiser about the choices that you're making and what you're giving your energy to. And make sure that you know what you're doing here, and make sure that, you know, that you're getting a full, and there's no guarantees with all this 8th house shit, right? It's trust. But I almost feel like you're giving away things, energy, and giving your heart away to people that you think will just be some, it'll all just change my life. It'll just change the world. That's not going to happen. I lost one of the dice in the middle of that whole catastrophe of cards that just went. We're good. All right.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I did. We got Saturn, and we got it in the 3rd house, and we got it in Pisces. Ooh, waking up from the delusions in your mind. And trust me, I have Saturn in the 3rd. You have to, Saturn in the 3rd is, you have to actually start to, where are the limitations that your mind is trying to not limit, especially in the delusions or in the fantasies about things, or just being too nonchalant about things. You might need to take the facts a little bit more seriously instead of just giving away the facts to, well, I'll just let that one slip. You've let too many fucking things slip. Stop having all these things slip, and stop letting your fucking excitement of life slip, because your excitement of life right now is probably off material things with the 2nd house. A new job, a new house, money, something. I bought a new TV, or I'm going to build this, or I'm going to build that, or you know what I mean? But that does not save shit. That's all I got.
Now the material goods will not save the situation.
No.
Tell by the physical touch. Has the love been lost? That's what you have to look for. Do you still get that? Do you get those goosebumps when he touches you? Do you? Because it might be time to work on it. If not, you know. I saw some people saying in there that they were married for 20 plus years. I don't know if they were referring to this, but congratulations. That's amazing. That's a milestone. You should celebrate that shit. We should all strive to work for that. That's some love, and I'm sure it took a lot of effort along the way. There's probably some nights where they got in fights. Maybe that the touch got a little cold, but they worked on it. Hopefully they're radiating that heat, feeling the love.
Do you really want me to get 5-1 on this shit? Human design? My heretic is just sitting there in the background going, we don't know the whole story, but, you know, how many notches on your belt in a love relationship that has no love is not anything to ever, like, be proud of sometimes either, right? I'm not calling these people, I'm just saying. We all want to reach for something, but sometimes we reach for fucking notches on a belt. We reach for fucking trophies of years. We do it for, it's been set up in ways of like, oh, on this anniversary, once you reach the 10th one, you give this. And then on the 15th, you give this. And then it's almost like, oh, I make it higher in society in this way. I'm just here to tell Geminis, this is a once-in-a-lifetime transit that you're going through right now. It don't matter if you're married, don't matter whatever. Like, you need to realize that the universe has woke you the fuck up and start to listen, and it don't matter. And stop looking at the notches on your belt and look at the truth, because true value has nothing to do with the notches on the belt. It has everything to do with your heart and whether or not you're fucking getting it instead of in your mind, well, I'm on 20 years. That's mind shit, not fucking heart shit. Just got all 5-1 on you.
There you go.
Libras. Libras understand what I'm talking about, except there's probably a good 25% that do that. But Libras eventually, when they see the fucking writing on the wall and it gets crazy, they have no problem leaping out. And most Geminis too, but in these times, all that 8th house, oh, obsessed. I'm not talking about you, Libras. Libras, for you, it is actually crazy time when it comes to relationships. I'm just going to be very honest with you. That's because Mars is in your 7th house now, and it's going to stay here until January. Remember that we have not seen this Mars retrograde of Aries since 1988, okay? So, whoo! It is definitely, you got to confront your wounds in your relationships. You got to confront them now, because this week Mars comes to Chiron, and then Chiron retrogrades, and then we're going to see the moon in Aries, and it's going to square the sun in Cancer. And remember, as being a Libra, this is your 10th house. Like, you got to grow up now. You got to move forward. You got to take a new step forward in your life, in your love life. You got to grow up. You got to, and it's hard. There's all this emotion. There's all the big planets at the bottom of your chart. So you got to remember, it's heavy. It's heavy down there emotionally, and you have heavy emotions, and it feels like, I can't get through this shit. Yes, you can. Because if you don't emotionally fulfill what you want in your life, and you've got to let go of the identification of maybe a person that's not showing up and not fighting for you and not fucking there, then why are you fighting for that? Like, only go into the stuff where somebody's willing to give fucking it all. Like, because there's an identification problem within yourself of identifying who you fully are by identifying with somebody who's not really fully there, or you're not fully into them, or this is going to be major confrontation. And Mercury coming direct in your 10th is like, time to be an adult, time to make decisions. And that doesn't mean you can't have the most amazing love, because it's very adult-like. It's like, you need to make the decisions about getting over all of your insecurities right now about how relationships don't look the way that you want to, and how the emotions of continuing to, that's your trap right now. Like, it's like, you've got to have a solid emotional foundation, but you're creating a solid emotional foundation of probably depression, or, trying to keep something safe, or holding a space for somebody that has nothing to show up with. That's why Cancer is your 10th house, that you must only hold space for those that are on the trail and have decided and put everything to go on the trail with you in life. If you fucking Capricorn your 4th house and you just start cementing your emotions and holding space there and waiting like an old cement fucking little weird fire extinguisher on the corner and thinking another one's going to move up right next to you, not going to happen. No water's coming out of that thing unless there's a fucking dramatic emergency. And so what are you doing? Are you trying to create dramatic emergencies just to get the emotion? Seven of Wands. Only fight for what you would fight everything for. But the question, Libra, lies in, are you trying to have the high ground and fight for this position against all enemies, against all odds? And is that person even willing to fight next to you, or are you all alone fighting for it? And only fight for that stuff that you know that if you're fighting that part of that ground, the other person that you're with is fighting the same ground against the same enemies and the same people too. But if you're not getting that other side at all, and you also if you don't want to really put that much energy into something, because I feel like Libras are kind of torn right now. Like, should I fight for this or not? Should I stay in this, or should I, it's like, go look at the partner. How much are they fighting for it? Or do they only show up when an emergency happens and then they're floating off somewhere else? Look at that. That's your challenge, the Mars card. And that's where Mars is in your 7th house relationship, and it's forced. Like, you're not willing to take action properly. I would say it's like an action that doesn't make sense. You're fighting for things that are not worth fighting for, and you're not taking action to go towards things that will give you the passion, the energy, and the life force and the definition of your life to rocket ship it forward. It's like being in a big toy that we used to get at freaking kids. What was that called? Toys R Us. Instead of the fucking rocket ship. Like, it's like, I'm going to stay in the fucking, stay in my big toy. Or what was that called? What were they called? Power wheels? No, they weren't power wheels. What were those fucking little Jeeps and shit that were fucking powered? Craig? He's not even paying attention. He's not even in Deep Love Tarot. I just caught a fucking Scorpio not engaged.
I'm reading comments over here.
What was it called? What was it called when you go to Kids Club? Fucking you go to Toys R Us and then you fucking it's like a big not big toy because that was a Deerfield. Fucking Power Wheel? No, it was not a Power. Was it Power Wheel?
Yeah.
Power Wheels. Or do you want to get on fucking the new Tesla fucking rocket to Mars? Like, you know, like, hello? I remember those little Barbie Jeeps they came out with. Like, yeah, those things fucking last a long time. You had to plug that bitch in fucking like 10 minutes later. You know what I mean? The Chariot reverse. Look at you. You're not willing to move to a new energy. That's the outcome. You want to stay in the town because you think that there's something still there. I'm here to tell you there's nothing there. I already know that because I already know that the cards that's going to come on top of this is not going to be good. There's nothing there. The Chariot must move towards God's energy. It holds the Magician wand and it goes into, it leaves the city. It leaves the energy and it moves to divine truth. But for some reason, you're still holding back. You're holding back the range. You got Mars as your challenge and you're fighting for things that nothing would move forward with. Wow, you got the Page of Cups. Why don't you go have fun? Why don't you go have some emotion? Why don't you go have real connection? I know that may be complicated if you're married or if you're in a relationship and you're in some really shitty situation, but especially if you're fucking single and gee, many Christmas, are you holding on to something that's just, you're not willing to have fun? I mean, you're not willing to have the Page of Cups is a great time, by the way. It's loving. It's amazing makeout shit. Like, you know what I mean? So let's see what your shadow is. Envious gluttony. So it's like you're overdoing it's like, are you obsessed with trying to fight for somebody in a weird, really deformed way? These two make a great match right now, don't they? Like, or you're obsessed with somebody who honestly probably is obsessed in some pretty gluttonous ways in some other things, and you're willing to fight and protect them. Or you could be getting used right now. Why is that Chariot there? Vision. Wow. You have the vision that you don't want to go towards because you think that there's another vision that you have to go back to try and find. I'm trying to tell you that there's no such thing as going back to find a vision. You have to go on the vision quest, not the vision replay. This card is a very unique card in this deck, actually. It's not part of the major arcana. It's one of, that's why I like IH squared fucking new deck, this Icarus deck, right? In this deck, you have to realize that this card with this Chariot reversed, if you don't really go towards visions into new directions and use that third eye to a new space and actually be aware of what's going on, and you think that you need to turn around and go backwards, you're not going to get any vision. You're just going to replay the old fucking shitstorm that maybe you think that you'll find the identity of your life or you find something there. It's not. You must move into the new vision. You must move and create new visions. You must have the power to. You got Libra, 9th house, Jupiter. Wow. Well, you got Jupiter in the 9th and with Libra. This is opening up new relationship experiences. I mean, I can't get any more clear than that one. Opening up new doorways and starting to actually be honest with yourself, fair and truthful, and look at the true justice by opening up to new visions. I mean, Jupiter in the 9th, like that is the space for Jupiter. It is opening up the ultimate door. Are you willing to open up new doors and new visions, ones that are beautiful? Or do you just want to keep opening up fucking small doors with nothing that you're going to get that you can feel. Good luck.
And things with visions, it's almost, we have to believe it's true. Take, for example, a vision board. We're believing that all that is going to come true in our life. And that's the same thing with love. It's the same thing with relationships. We have to have this vision, and it has to be a realistic vision. It has to be something attainable. It just can't be some outlandish idea in our mind. But we have that path, and the universe allows us to follow it. It might put roadblocks and it might take us down turns that we might not really understand fully, but we will. We'll learn those lessons. We'll take them into our life. We'll put that into our little cookie jar, and we'll work through it.
Put it through that little cookie jar. What kind of cookies are in there?
Man, a couple weekends ago, I ate a giant bag of mini cookies.
What mini cookies?
It was the day that I smoked that brisket. I was so hungry. They were just like chocolate chip cookies.
Did you have the cookies before the brisket?
I didn't even get to eat the brisket until the next day. That Monday when I came in here and cut it, that was the first time that I cut it. But it was a big old bag of chocolate chip cookies.
Who makes them? Chips Ahoy?
I got them from Sprouts. They were the Sprouts brand.
Oh.
They're all right. I mean, when you eat a whole bag, you're not going to feel great. That's the gluttony of it. Maybe you only have a little bit.
Wow, it sounds like a party, bro.
I had a vision that I was going to just chow on some cookies, and that vision came true. And I was
going to say a point to your vision thing, right? So you make a good point about, like, you've got to believe in the vision. The problem, though, too, is that some people believe in visions that already showed the vision that didn't come true, and they want to continue to believe in that vision. Like, like it would be me, like, really trying to believe that I would still be a car salesman, when I lost the job and I went on unemployment and then the car industry tanked. It would have been like, you know what? I'm going to believe I'm going to stay in this space, even though it's not delivering me anything. And now it's putting me on unemployment and no car dealer will even hire any salesman or finance managers, and all the banks stopped doing loans. And I was like, am I going to really continue to believe in that vision that was my journey? No, I was like, I fucking know that my vision of being a DJ and astrologer, which I thought was fucking insane, and everybody in my life except Craig Skidmore thought it was insane. Yeah, I actually never asked him. I think he was just cool enough. Maybe it's just because you were Irish and you thought it was cool. I don't know. I never asked you, but,
What would you like to ask me?
Huh?
What would you like to ask me?
If you actually really believed I'd pull all this shit up when you were supporting me back in 2009 and 10.
I didn't really, there wasn't really fully the vision back then.
What?
Yeah. For this, where we are right here, right now, that wasn't.
Oh, no. I'm just saying the fact that I was like, I'm going to be a DJ and I'm going to be an astrologer.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, so there it is.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people believe me. A lot of people made fun of me.
Well,
Aquarius.
Sometimes people suck at life.
They do. Like Libras who believe in a vision that already showed itself. And now it's time for the real new vision board. Libras make a vision board.
Someone said I was a fat girl after my cookie comment. I had a good internal laugh about that.
Mercury Retrograde and Cancer. Were you watching The Bachelor too and eating the cookies in the background?
I was just slamming fucking cookies.
That's my Cancer joke, because I would say that 90% of the Cancers that I know watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, like, religiously. More, and they're very religious too, and they're like more than their church. They'll miss church for that shit, like if they missed out or something. All right, Aquarius. It's like an old grandfather clock right now in the background that just won't go away. Ticking and ticking and ticking until when you're going to finally go 100% to the truth and change your life and speak your truth and change your reality and change your environment and go to the place with love and happiness that you must, even if it's going to be hard as fuck. You got ticking time bomb going on right now with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto all in your 12th house in retrograde. And you've got now Mercury retrograde in your 6th house, and it's about to square Mars, and it's going to come into its direct motion while Chiron and Mars are going to meet up in your 3rd house. This is realizing that maybe the way that you overthink that you can keep sustaining a lot of things in your life that just really are emotionally already kind of, because I think that, I'm going to be honest, Aquarius, you might not want to admit that you're emotionally feeling disconnected, especially when it comes emotionally. And that's not just because you're an Aquarius, it's because you have your Uranus in Taurus right now, right? That's your 4th house. And it's at the 10th degree now. So you have to now go to new emotional places, and they're harder. You have to own the value, and you have to also up the value. And I think that this is it's not as terrible as it might be painted. It's just more like, what are you waiting on speaking your truth? What are you waiting on directing in what you really want? And also realizing in your life that there is complications right now that you can't hide. You do a great job of hiding it by just fucking hiding in your fucking weird UFO and thinking that nobody can see it. We all feel it. We all feel that you got weird shit going on there. We all feel that, we can feel whether it's the loneliness, or we can feel the unhappiness, or we can feel that you don't want to hurt anybody. I get it, but your emotions are on the line about the life that you really want to have. And no matter what you think is going to just, the angels got your back, but they're not going to have your back just forever by just sitting and doing nothing and just thinking that you can just chill without doing some sort of change. There's got to be some sort of change right now in your relationship, or if you're single, about how you do fulfill your cup. You got North Node and Venus still in Gemini. You did pull the strength card. So it's the strength to have the ultimate happiness and love in your life. Look at that. Well, your 7th house is Leo. So there is that energy that, Aquarians have to learn that, relationships are what bring you strength in your life, but it also is where they bring you weakness when you don't know how to be your true heart self. And I think that there's a lot of questions if you're really feeling that in your life, or the people that you're picking, are in the same vibe as that strength and that power that you have from deep within. And you did get your Jupiter return of benefits as your challenge. So yeah, it's not going to be just like Moses ain't parting the Red Sea for you right now exactly the way you want to. You're going to have to go cross the long way. You know what I mean? You're not going to just, oh yeah, here you go, Aquarius. It'll be easy for you. Fucking hold on one second. Yeah, just pass on through. Nope. This is reminding you that you are at a place to where this is not just going to go either away, the feelings, or it's not going to go away, that you're going to have to fully own some strength to get what's more of you want. You don't want to go hungry. You don't want to let that lion go hungry. And I would say that there's a big part of this about it's almost like a denial complex of what's the truth of what's missing right now. You got the Page of Wands upright. So that's your overall. You do need to speak from the heart. You need to speak your truth of your heart. Because if you don't, I feel like, you know what? I don't want to give you that FOMO, that fear of missing out, Aquarius. But there is the fear of missing out of a lot by staying in complacency. It's not a time to be just complacent, because it's like watching waves come in. There was just here in Orange County just this weekend, the fucking peninsula fucking got the waves in the water, and the high tides came onto the shore. I love how they showed one sailboat that fucking, a sailboat fucking did, but it got flooded. And it's like you're just sitting and waiting for the waters to flood. Seven of Pentacles upright with your Jupiter return. Yeah, I would say that it's about putting in some work to get something that's going to actually give you something back in return. And I would say that, are you putting a bunch of energy that you believe is really amazing, but there's not a lot of return? And you need to start to actually relook at those things. And where are you going to get the real return now? Returns happen on stocks for only so long. Good old Sears went a long time, but eventually stocks fail. the child I was meant to be with the strength. It's like, are you no longer who you really knew you were meant to be in life? Have you kind of gone off course? And are you feeling like you're going off course right now because you don't have the strength either to love? There's Aquarius right now that have shut off the love door completely and are doing the, I have my own world and I'm figuring out my own life and my own thing. South Node Sag. And I'm fine. I'm good. Everything's good. Yeah, right. Fucking, you need very specific happiness and very specific love because you deal with a lot of complex issues and complex situations. That's what gives you the thrive and the inspiration in life as partnerships. Not being all calculative in the head. So you going away from yourself fully? Well, you pulled the ultimate card of that deck. The Aquarius, which, you have to take a risk and you have to take a risk of actually saying and speaking and having a big conversation this week of exactly what you really want in your life. And it's a little bit dangerous, it feels like, because it almost feels like you were in complete surrender to and being pulled up into the light out of the dark. But, it's treacherous territory for you right now to speak your truth of what your heart really wants for some reason. It's like I can't, it's like you're playing like grandma or grandpa right now and you're a rebel. And you know what? We need the pirates back of the Zodiac. Are we going to just let Capricorns be the pirates, or are you a pirate too? Are you a pirate with the cool ship that does all the cool shit? Or are you a pirate right now without a ship and you're not on it and you're like in a cave? You pulled Saturn and Cancer in the 11th. Ooh. Social issues, emotionally, uncomfortable social issues, social confrontation. I thought you were the master of social situations. I thought you were the master of emotionally dealing with the emotions with social situations. That's what you got to get back into. You also have to really examine your home and your work life and make sure that you also have a life that's involved with people and the world that you really want, because that will make your work and your home life go in a better direction. There's something that's off in these areas. It's causing a lot of weird conflicts. And you got a siren in the background. And a grandfather clock at the beginning by the Leo King.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Now you got to find the surroundings that are going to make you happy. Maybe get back. You did say the childlike wonder almost. What is it that made you happy before? Was it just like a random task? I mean, we found happiness as children in every little thing. Could be the ants that were crawling on our hands, or a butterfly or a cloud that we saw a dinosaur in. It could be any one of those things. And at some point we kind of lost that, and maybe you lost a little happiness of yourself. You kind of lost a little bit of yourself. I think it's time to actually kind of focus back as to who the truth is, who you actually are. Could be a fun little project to look into. We were talking about vision boards. Maybe you need to make a little vision board about who you were, who you thought you were going to be, and who you actually are right now. A little Venn diagram action, and start piecing your life back together.
I like that.
Thanks.
And I think Venn diagrams are simple, but then, Aquarians turn a Venn diagram into a fucking Einstein fucking chalkboard. And I think the Venn diagram, you just got to keep it simple. Sometimes too, Aquarius, I'm just going to be honest with you right now. Like, man, I remember my Saturn 12th house shit in Cancer with eclipses. And I can tell you that it's about going for the dream and not being afraid. But as a Leo, I have no problem doing that. That's my emotional, 12th house. Like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, dreams, baby, all day. But for some reason, Aquarians, when it comes to dreams, is like, I need control. I need control of the dream. I need control of how it goes. I don't want anything to go wrong because I want to be able to figure it all out. How's that going for you? We've got... Uh-oh.
Is it party time? Is it party time?
I don't know.
Cause ain't no party like Scorpio party, baby. Baby, ain't no party.
It's party time. It's Scorpio time.
Bra, bra, bra. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we get a jewel on this one.
I was about to say, what would be the actual sound of a Scorpio? It would be screaming, like, yeah! Or an orgasm scream, or a death scream, like, oh, fuck! Phoenix rising, like, you know, like, whoa, fuck.
It's something with the bass that just slapped you. Just slap at the bass.
How's that bass slapping going right now? Scorpio, North Node, Venus in the 8th house.
It's been a one-man bass party.
You know, you've been slapping the bass yourself a little bit too much. It's okay. It's good. It's good to take care of your own self, Scorpio, but you also have to not be afraid to go deeper into water's 8th house, right? This is your time, but with all this Cancer, Capricorn, which is happening in the 9th and the 3rd house, you don't know where you're going. It's like you're questioning a lot of things, and where is life? Who should I be with? Uranus now at the 10th degree in your relationship house. Yeah, you got to move forward into what makes sense and what builds great new futures for you instead of going backwards. And I would say that this Aries energy in your 6th house is saying that, you know, have you just like gotten too focused on like a certain way of living right now and monotonous and then the same thing, and you want stimulation in your life, so you go to stupid places for stimulation because you're just in a mundane, boring thing. I think that you're going to have to realize that maybe you're too specific about how you have your day-to-day life. Maybe you have to rethink about redefining your schedule. Maybe you're holding on to a schedule that doesn't even make you happy. Well, change it, you know? Or it's like health situations, of course. They're going to come up very intensely in squares here to Mercury retrograde, and of course when it comes direct. And the big question is, like, it's time to explore the depths of the life that you want instead of figuring out how you're going to fix things, because fixing things is not going to work right now. You know, 3rd house, 6th house squares, especially biggest, I would say, going on is right here. So, you know, even situations in your personal life, right? Like you just have to realize, like, this isn't about fixing things. This is about actually realizing you have to go towards exploring parts of life that you have to be a Scorpio. You have to get deep. You have to get intense. And not sitting in intensity is why there's issues. Five of Swords. Yeah, maybe the universe is forcing you to try a little bit harder, even though sometimes it can be a little bit too much. That, you know, I think it's funny in this one. It looks like she broke through the fucking glass with that fucking thing. Or is she ready to go fucking stab a Scorpio in their heart? Ooh. But Five of Swords always is, you know, the one that kind of everybody like goes, whoa, maybe you're trying a little too hard. I would say that based on your astrology, though, and I'm an astrologer and I mix this with tarot and I am a channeler, I would say that it's almost like you're not trying hard enough. And you know what? Fuck it if you try hard enough and too hard, because at least you're a Scorpio and you hit the boundary. Your issue is when you don't hit boundaries, because then you don't know where boundaries are, and then you also you're like a Scorpio that has had no blood, like a vampire, right? So you're out for blood, but are you going to actually get it? And you got the Mercury retrograde as your challenge. You're overthinking way too many things and trying to reinvent the wheel that doesn't need reinventing right now. So don't go backwards right now, especially in trying to figure things out or trying to overprocess things. Like, just go fucking in and see what's there, you know? And that's the answer. If it doesn't work, it works. If it doesn't, but if you're still trying to go backwards into things that are old and regurgitated and thinking a new thing is going to show up, at least you tried. How many times are you going to keep trying?
1 million.
You did pull the Page of Wands in reversed. So, you know, I think that if you have expectations, especially from past energies of them showing up, riding on a horse with a new message, all beautiful and happy, it's gonna be the same shit. Like, and also they're not gonna show up with the energy that you want, or maybe you're not showing up with the energy. Maybe there's offers too of love that you're not taking. Like, why is that? Are you still rethinking things? You're not willing to go actually put something intense forward in your life? You pulled the Four of Wands in reverse. I think that, the perfect picture of the perfect story is what you need to let go of. There is no perfect story. There's no perfect way to look. But I think that that's part of your issue, is that you're almost like, well, okay, it's not perfect, but maybe I can figure out how to make it perfect. Or maybe that's sometimes the problem. I'm going to keep going backward and allowing it not to be perfect, and then everything's not perfect. It's like, obviously the party is not there. So wherever there's no party right now, stay the fuck away from it. Wherever there's no party, wherever there's no celebration, wherever it's just pain. Pain, 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 pain. Stay the fuck away. But that's also creating you to not take in things that are not painful. And that's your issue, I would say, is that you're holding on to the painful situations and you're not allowing the ones that are really non-painful in. Your shadow that you got is the Queen of My Own World. Okay. Look at this. These are two different decks too. Same red dress. This is like you doing too much of like what you want fully, in a way that you might not actually be even getting even close to what you want, because it's like you're kind of in your own dimension, I would say, but nobody else is around. It also is kind of lonely, both these cards, but feeling like that you're growing fierce. But what are you growing fierce for? What are you waiting on? You're missing out on this whole outcome here. What is it that you're the Hangman reversed? Like, you're not stuck. So why aren't you allowing great things to come into your life? You're only stuck when you're going to keep taking on what you have wanted in the past, that you thought it could even be an ex-marriage partner, or just an ex that you thought you were going to get married to, or anything like that. That there's so much that you keep rethinking about, or comparing and contrasting. You got to remove that now, and you have to allow to let the new things that are beautiful ride in. But you're not wanting that, so you're unstuck, but you're not allowing anything good in. I mean, what the fuck's going on here? We'll pull this. The talisman. The ultimate key to getting out of the shitty place in your life has showed up, and you better not fucking waste that key this week. These are keys that are only given to the highest of the high to get to the ultimate doors. But no, I don't want to open the door. I want to fucking have control or keep thinking about something from the past, or playing around in your head like an experiment. There's no such thing as experimentation, Scorpio. It's just the experimentation of all in and seeing what's there. And if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. There's no like playing with it in your mind. If you're in your mind right now, you are in a fuck show right now.
You hit the nail on the head right there, my friend. Right there. The mind tricks, the head games.
Yeah, and these aren't Jedi mind. This is not Jedi mind tricks either.
No, these are mind tricks that we continue to play. From our past. Like I said, there's no perfect future. There's no perfect relationship to represent it, but there is a perfect past. That is our past. Every past is perfect because it got you to be the person that you are today. It got you to be ready to build a new relationship. It got you ready to be able to work through a new situation that might arise that just doesn't feel right. So remember that. There's no perfect future that we can't project in our mind. It's not always going to work out like that, but that is that perfect past that got you here. But you got to dig yourself out of it as well. You can't just continue to love, continue to dissect individuals that don't need to hold space. At some point, you got to say, hey, I'm fine with no longer fucking with you and move on. What's up?
I just wrote the chat.
Oh, you wrote the chat, did you?
About you.
What did you write over there in the chat?
Oh, it's there.
Oh, was that sensitive?
You can say it out loud. How about you read my comment out loud?
Oh, look at Craig. Being all sensitive Scorpio.
I'm going to call Scorpios this week Cancers. No party for the Scorpios because you guys are in emotional.
I don't fuck with you. Be fine with no longer fucking with people.
Get over that shit. Fuck. That's why Leo and Scorpio fucking are the two life and death machines, because I gotta remember to bring the Scorpio's life, and they gotta remember to tell me to fucking end fucking things, you know what I mean? So, but this is where I'm picking up the Scorpios, like, bring some life to things. All right, Cancers.
Oh,
I didn't even think about that till right now. I fucking called you guys Cancers, fucking, and then the Cancers pop up. Oh, well, you were on that. I wasn't even on that one.
come on down.
Maybe Cancers are Scorpios now. Maybe you guys switch teams. How do you guys like that?
Nah, I'm good.
Oh, Scorpios don't like it. Maybe Cancers do. I don't know. We'll see in the chat.
Because ain't no party like Scorpio.
I want to know.
party,
I want to know from the
baby.
chat right now. If you are a Cancer, would you be down with being switched to a Scorpio? And if you're a Scorpio, would you be down to be switched as a Cancer right now? Well, Cancers, it might seem emotional, but it actually isn't, because you got big choices in your life with your relationships. You got all the big 3 planets in your relationship house, and now we're making big squares to all Mars and Chiron conjunct, and Chiron's retrograding in your 10th house. Yeah, where are you going in your long-term life, Cancer? Is it really? There's career shit coming up. There's long-term goals. There's long plans. Is the partnerships you're choosing or the partnership you're in, is it able to handle the long term? You're rethinking your life. You have Mercury retrograde in your sign. It's going to finish here by this weekend. And bam, when it turns back on, it's going to be like, okay, I've revealed everything I want. Am I seeing that in the outer reflection of my partnership? And is this going in the direction that I really want to go? Especially with North Node and Venus that's still in Gemini in your 12th house. You have been revealed so much that is the truth about what is in alignment with spirit and what is not. Are you ready, Cancer, to own the power of your long-term destiny, making sure that you have the right person in the fucking boat? Because it won't be comfortable if you look at this new world in Capricorn that's being readjusted. If your partner can't hang, the false illusion of Pluto with like Jupiter there, like, no, they totally can. And then Saturn's coming back like, no, don't call that motherfucker a Capricorn right now. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, no, Pluto just fucked with Jupiter. Yeah, he did. He just literally fucked Jupiter. Hades just fucked Jupiter fucking in retrograde. And Jupiter didn't even know it. Jupiter's like, I'm fucked here. And the South Node's is in Sag. And I'm fucking in the house I don't want. And I'm retrograde. And Pluto just fucked me with this. So everybody, wherever Capricorn is, we all just got fucked in this, believing this delusional belief, you know, like that we just got, or we got, actually, if you think about it, especially if you see what's happened in the last week in the world right now, we all got fucked to try and believe something so big that's actually false. That's just some true astrology right there. Cancers, it's in your relationship shit. You better wake the fuck up a little bit. I just told fucking, what time was I told? Oh, Aquarians to wake up a little bit. Four of Pentacles in reversed. Ooh, Cancer. You know, I already feel like you already know a lot of this stuff and you're not holding on as tight as you are. Or maybe it is the lesson. Four of Pentacles is like, finally drop the value of things for a second and reevaluate things, because maybe you've been holding on too tight. Although I already got a feeling that there's been a loosening grip, Cancers, that's been going on. You might think I'm creepy, but I have tapped in. Ooh, the Aries I am card. That is your 10th house. Ooh, your challenge is to actually get what you really want. Ooh. So you do have to drop, because you got to drop something that you wanted that you don't want anymore to get what you really want. But that's the challenge. And you're like, well, then I have to actually like go do it? Yeah, you do. You do. And you pulled the Hangman as your overall. You are stuck. Stuck holding on to something you don't want. Oof, the devil. Oof. Woo! The devil has showed up for the Cancers. I called it. I said Cancers are going to feel like Scorpios. I said Scorpios are going to feel like Cancers. Not saying that the devil, I'm getting all preacher on everyone. The devil is not Scorpio. But the devil has showed up, and it is on your Aries, and it is on your I am, and it is on your Mars. It is time to resurrect Jesus up in here and bring up the love in your heart back into yourself of what you really want, instead of holding on to shit that is the devil. That is keeping you stuck in a place that you don't want to be. That I have been trying to tell you this for fucking almost 3 years. Praise Jesus up in here for the Cancers.
Speaking of the devil, rest in peace, Charlie Daniels. Devil went down to Georgia. He passed away today.
Oh.
I'm getting all Cancer and emotional, and I thought,
See,
I thought that's what you wanted.
Scorpio.
I thought that's what you wanted.
Cancers, you don't have to hear that from me anymore. But you know what? You need to be a little bit more Scorpio, because that's the only way to get to what you want. Is that you are keeping subconscious, I gotta keep holding on. Why? Oh, because I already been through this. I've already lost that before. I've already lost that. Well, welcome to being a crab. You lose position and you have a fucking shell to keep moving on. You're a cardinal sign. You're a season sign. It is your birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. Revenge. You got revenge with the Four of Pentacles in reversed? Oh. I think that you might be pissed. I think that you might be really playing that fucking Scorpio card right now. I think that it's important for you to realize that, you know what? You're fucking ready for a change, but you got to not get pissed, because you know what? You're trying to get revenge on yourself. You know why? Because it's like you're not being, it's like, you know what? It's because I think that you're realizing how stupid you've played holding on to things that are not that great and fucking giving all your emotions and taking care of it like a fucking baby. It's like, you know what? It'd be like somebody adopting a baby, and like you nurse it and you take care of it. And then right when it starts to love you, it's like, oh, thank you. Yeah, we wanted you to do that, but we are taking the baby back from you. And you knew it the whole time, but you act like you didn't. It was in the contract, but you were like, I don't see that. Now Venus retrograde in the 12th. Oh, shit, I remember that's in the contract. Shit. I think this is the revenge that you're trying to get back at yourself. Over your own shit that you hold on to that you don't need to hold on to. And you want to do better with it, but you also, God, this is so Scorpio. Oh, she is. She's ready to come out of your TV screen, the ring. It's also 23-5. You're definitely rethinking a lot of things, and your mind is all over the place. What did you get here with Hangman? Oh, you got the Hierophant card. Well, Jesus, the Pope has shown up for the devil. That means that it's okay to go for what you want, and you know that you're in spiritual alignment. Like, you're not doing, I think that challenge of getting what you want, you think that you're being a bad person, or that you're the devil, or you're just a bad apple, or that you're a fucking dark person or something. It's like, no, you have fucking deep needs and wants, and this is a long fucking journey in a new world. And karma exists, and karmic situations are fucking crazy. And you're going through the most craziest karmic fucking relationship situations of all the signs. So you better get on Scorpio and not be afraid to make the changes. And you got the Pope right there to get you out of the hanged position. But if you're not going to if you're going to feel like you're evil, especially that's what it is. You know, like, you feel like you're evil for what you really feel. And that's the last, how good is that? That's how the devil works. Make a Cancer that's emotional feel like they're bad for feeling what they really feel. Your Astro Dice. What, did you just laugh?
No.
Libra, Neptune. I just laughed then. Libra, Neptune in the 11th. Ooh. It's a whole new world of relationships and looking at all kinds of people. And it's a sensitive thing because it is the justification that maybe you've been, you know, maybe you're more of a friend than a lover. Think about that one, Cancer.
No, allowing yourself to live in a delusional state, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, the delusional state that you're married and you're in love, but you have no romantic love, and it's
Right.
like just a friendship, and like you guys act the love part out. Like, we act this to the world that we're in love, but really, he's always in the garage, and I'm always in here baking cookies for Craig to go eat when he's in his fucking pool.
Hell yeah. Some brisket and cookies.
And then when it comes to the bedroom thing, it's like, good night, sweetheart.
Kiss on the cheek.
Kiss on the cheek. Did you set the alarm? I have to get up early to go fucking jerk it off.
And there's those delusions right there.
Oh, it's some person on the internet.
The delusions that you think that you're okay with that situation too, when you know that you're not. You know, where are you stifling your own desires? You're suppressing them? Or are you actually speaking them into existence? Are you letting them out into the world? Are you experiencing them with your partners? Because if you are, that's a great thing, and you should keep doing that, and you should maybe pass that along to some of the other individuals, teach them how to do that.
Hey, we're throwing one card for Cancer overall.
One card
what
for
was
Cancers.
it? Oh, it's the Veiled card. Secrets. You are playing Scorpio this week, Cancer. Oh, I don't know why my guides keep showing me. It's like, did you set the alarm on? Because I have to go into the bathroom and get online and Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger or something and go talk to that person. And really, I'm just imagining just for a moment what love would really feel like. Cancers are not going to like me after that one. I raised Jesus up for you as a preacher for that thing. I just did that for you. And I am, if you want to know, I really am an ordained minister for real. Oh, Leo. It's funny because my cat Leo's back there. He's probably like, Leo. Oh. Let me take a hit of this goodness for Leo. Well, Leo, it's kind of a weird story. I mean, Mars in the 9th is, you know, it's an adventure. It's about looking at all your options. And Chiron there might feel like it's a weird thing to understand your options because you are in a weird 6th house, 12th house world still. Mercury retrograde in the 12th, like you really don't know what the fuck's going on. You're still trying to feel wherever spirit's calling you. And then you have real life to deal with, and you have a lot of fucking things going on in your real life. So there's like a life spiritual balance, and you are trying to see where God's calling it all to. That's the truth. But it's hard to define what that looks like. I think by this weekend it'll be figured out once Mercury's done with his retrograde and we see Chiron retrograde. But with Mars there, it's like, don't cut off all beliefs just because something doesn't look like the way that you want it to look exactly. It's okay to kind of see things from different angles and, I would say look deeper into things and learn that, there's a whole world of all possibilities in your life, and that's what you're here to figure out. You're a king or queen. So it's okay to fucking figure things out. You don't have to fucking rush to figure it out, but it's okay to observe, and it's okay to ask where the signs are. And where the signs are the most is what will make sense to you. A king that doesn't go by the signs, or a queen, is no king or a real queen. So you pulled the Leo, I'm a Leo, the 9 of Cups in reverse. So maybe, one, this kind of feels like, well, okay, there's a lot of options, but, it's like one could be over excess of energy. Like maybe you're putting too much energy into somebody, and maybe you need to spread it out better because it is 9 of Cups, spread out the emotions. 2, I think that it also could be like this feeling like maybe you're at a bad party for love this week when really you're not. It's like your own perspective about things. So I think that this is going to be about perspective, and I think it's going to be about not focusing on just like so intense, just trying to figure out everything in one space. Like you have to kind of spread everything out and see all the parts of your life right now, and how does it all fit in together. Black Moon Lilith, the mystery is the challenge. It almost is like the shadow side of doing whatever that you want is not being it's challenged. So it's almost like maybe, Black Moon Lilith gets shamed. And so maybe the challenge is that you feel you'll be shamed this week. And I think that you can't be afraid of being whatever that you are and doing the things that you want. Because I think that that's going to be the big question. Black Moon Lilith, she does what she wants, and she's like, I'm not going to get shamed, but showing this up as a challenge is like, I'm being shamed for just being my heart. Maybe somebody won't be happy just for you fucking finding love, or maybe somebody will fucking be unhappy because you don't talk to them or you don't give enough attention to them. 9 of Cups reverse, you don't give enough. Or, Page of Swords upright. Definitely communication is going to be very important this week, and there's going to be a lot of it, and it's going to be very fast, and there's going to be a lot of clarity with that. So I think this is about communication, but, there might be shaming. There might be just like, making sure that you know that there's a lot of stuff going on in your world. So you've got to find a way to spread things out and just get the clarity about situations. And the more that you can be clear, although it is Mercury Retrograde on the 12th. So that's why this is the outcome. I think by this weekend, it'll be a lot more clear. Don't freak out until you've gotten everything. Don't think that you've gotten everything in 1 millisecond. That's 9 of Cups reverse. Like, in order to feel content, you need to have experienced and spread all the energy out fully. And the 9 of Swords in reverse. So definitely don't be afraid of fucking being shamed. Oh, man. Because you are the motherfucking lion, and every other sign doesn't eat meat, isn't a carnivore, isn't a king, and isn't a fucking queen. And you're allowed to fucking do what the fuck you want and piss on your territory and roar, and everybody else runs the fuck away. And when you get shamed, are you going to put your tail between your legs, or are you going to fucking roar and be like, you know what? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Nice try.
Nice try.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Oh, atonement. Stabbed in the back. Well, maybe that shaming does make you feel like you've been stabbed in the back. And maybe you didn't do anything wrong, too, either. Because that's the thing, is it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck? Especially with the 9 of Cups in reverse. It almost feels like bad luck. Or it almost feels like somebody has a different alternative identification of you. Especially with the Page of Swords. We're going to find out what that is. The Tower reversed. Yep, somebody thinks that somebody's going to shame when nothing bad happened. This is weird. This is like communication about shit, and you're just trying to get to the bottom of things. It's not that you're fucking towering every moment, but maybe you're afraid to, and then you get shamed because you're afraid to say, you know what, that's not going to work, or this is how it's going to be. And then if you get shamed, it's like, well, I can't say that. I'm afraid. Don't be afraid of being shamed. Don't be afraid of fucking saying what might drop a fucking bomb of truth. Because you're going to get fucking stabbed either way. You're going to get stabbed. You're going to stab yourself and be out of tone in rhythm by fucking doing that to yourself, stabbing yourself in the back by not being of that truth. And then if you don't say that truth to somebody, right, then they're going to stab you in the back. If you do stand in your truth too, like, you're going to get stabbed back in the back either way by just standing in your truth. Some people, this is going to be a week where people are not going to like what your decisions are. And then there's going to be some people that fucking are on the other end that are fucking stoked. So, I mean, I think that's where it's like, that's just being life of the king or the queen. Like, sorry, you didn't make the team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could go back to fucking outside the castle. It's like, what the fuck? It's like if, we were bringing up The Bachelor earlier. It's like, oh my God, Jesus. It was so, oh my God, for her, for him, or whatever. It's like, oh my God, just chill the fuck out. I haven't made a choice or anything. I'm just saying it's not fucking going to work with you. It's like, this is episode 1. Venus and Gemini, well, that's where it is, in the 7th house. Oh, snappies. It's definitely going to be a wild week in relationships, and a lot of curiosity, a lot of figuring out, and a lot of trying to find the ultimate twin, the twin-like energy that really does emotionally feel, I would say, well, it's not even emotional. It's Venus. What feels exciting? What feels and fills you up with stimulation? And what feels like it matches you with the same vibration fully? If there's anything that's off in vibration, especially with atonement, well, if it's out of tone, it's out of tone.
Don't feed into the shame. That shame resides from jealousy. They shamed Jesus because he was turning water into wine, hanging out with all those fun people. They were shaming the witches because they were running around naked underneath the moon, and they wanted to be out there naked running underneath the moon. And they're going to shame people because they're jealous of you.
Keep on going.
They know the power that you have. They want that power. They're going to try to take it from you. And that's how they do it, by taking you down one peg at a time. And if you believe them, if you feed into that, then you will lose your power. You will give that power away to them. And that is doing no justice to yourself, Leo. We talk about it all the time. Don't allow yourself. Don't put out your own flame. And don't allow anybody else to do that either. Tell them. Tell them who you are. Show them who you are. Be yourself always. Always.
Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome.
I like when Scorpio turns into Cancer.
Can I get one of those?
Yeah, here. Oh! You need a light? No problemo. Okay, we're picking another sign. I like when we get that fucking, look at that light come back on me, like the Leo that I am. Oh! Sagittarius, and you know who fell was Virgo and Taurus. Wow, Virgo and Taurus are last. Weird. So we're doing Sag.
Okay.
Well, the last 3 of the zodiac. It's like a horse race. Like, how's this gonna go for the last 3? Sag. Love is definitely on the biggest, intense definition quest of a lifetime right now, with Mars and Chiron meeting up, and Chiron going to retrograde with Mars there, and Mars is on an extended stay till January 5th. And we've got big squares going on with all this Aries moon and with Mercury retrograde to Mars in Cancer to Aries, which has to deal with you, with your 8th house and your 5th house of depth, intense passion and energy. And it's all squaring over in opposition in a T-square to all the Capricorn in your 2nd house of like, are you really going to hold on to something that's not fucking all the way fucking in and all the way fucking kabam? Because life force energy, sacral energy mixed with that true fucking passion is where in the heart. It's the sacral to the heart. It's the 8th and the 5th. But are you going to just like hold on to the throat? Oh, I'm financially staying in this because it's better for me financially, or it's better for me to get in a position in my work, or it's better for me to just stay here because we have a house, or we have this, we have a car, we have kids, we have this. Stop looking at all the haves and start looking at what you do not have emotionally, energetically, sexually, passionately. That's your issue. And I'm calling all the Sages out. You know that shit. Queen of Cups reversed. Well, not taking care of yourself, not emotionally giving yourself what you know that you need to give yourself. So this week you better do that, Saggy, because it's almost like your best interests are being looked at, or you're giving all your emotions and taking care of somebody else and they're not giving you anything back. Earth, stability is your challenge. That's your issue, is you're holding on to something for some sort of stability. Well, this is stable, but I'm not getting any emotion, and I'm giving it all away, and they're giving me nothing back in return. That sounds like a wonderful fucking situation. Wonderful. You're in there, you know, I'm going to say it, and it doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl or anything. It's like sugar daddy fucking energy, you know what I mean? But you don't believe it, and it might not be actual literal, but it might be, well, there's stability, so I'm getting that out of it, and I just kind of have to show up and give all this shit, and then they don't really fucking give me much back. I just called that shit out. The Judgment. Wow. God's coming in this week to be like, hello, wake the fuck up. What are you doing? Are you going to rise to a higher place and go on a better quest towards your real passions and your real happiness and drop your earthly fucking desires and, more importantly, your earthly understanding of what stability is? Which, I'll be honest, when it comes to love, there's no such thing as earthly stability when it comes to when there's no passion and no emotion there. That's why the Eagles created the song Lion Eyes. Because the next thing you know you'll end up cheating one day. Or you already have. Because you can't hide those lion eyes. I love that song. Well, look at this. The Lovers popped up for you as your way to get through the stability. True love, true love, true love. I hope you don't get that as your true love as far as your person, but you know where true love lies. That's stability, not physical stability of monetary means or just feeling stable in general. But there's earth there. So no matter how much Sag wants to believe that, no, I take care of my own bills, I'm okay and all that shit. Like, there you are. Or it's an earth sign, or it's somebody that fucking is offering some sort of either job or routine or money or physical aspect. Position. That true love is the real love, not that. I don't know. And that goes so well with all this Capricorn second house for you all. Well, let's see what your shadow shit is here. Sacrifice. I don't know. You might have pulled this one up before, but man, you are sacrificing everything by not getting what you emotionally need. So you're just sacrificing to get nada. So it's time to start to sacrifice getting out of emotional positions where you're not getting what you emotionally want to get what you really want. You fucking are the only one that pulled the fucking Lovers up right. The only other lover that came up was a reversal for the 1K collective reading for people in their individual looks at things. So, and maybe, Sag, if you did watch that 1K collective, if this is the person that you fucking keep trying to put things on, maybe it's like, yeah, you got to go from that person. Why'd you get Judgment? The Moon reversed. You're not dealing with your true emotional self. You're lying to your emotional self. you're not listening to your emotions. You might even have some sort of addiction issue to it, or you might have some sort of emotional fear. You're subconsciously pushing your emotions down into a dungeon, and you don't want them to come out. And I'm sorry to say that the lock on that dungeon door is rattling. Hold on. And all those emotions you can't keep suppressing because you're going to go crazy. I'll pull you. Wow, fire. With the Lovers. Fucking, and fire's the only thing. And not earth, fire. You pulled Venus in Taurus in the second house. Ooh, yeah. Okay, let's look for real value, real stability, and value of getting all the physical needs met in a sensual way. That's what Taurus is about. You can see and feel and touch, and it feels good. It doesn't just have stability. It offers life. It offers fruits. It offers beautiful waters and beautiful everything. Like, this is about the beauty. Are you a true beauty? I was on that show, so I can fucking ask you if you're a true beauty or not. Because true beauty lies from within. I don't think that within has true beauty anymore.
No, 'cause sometimes we hold that thought within too much, and then that beauty starts to wither away and wilts and dies. And it's kind of like that, you know, when you go to prom and stuff, and then my sister used to always keep her flowers and stuff, and you hang them upside down in there, and it's, what is it? It's a lifeless token of appreciation. It has no flame. It has no energy within it. And that could easily become you, and you could easily turn that around as well. Once you tap back into that fire, once you tap back into that burning desire within you, once you stop wasting your time, once you start putting forth effort and actually appreciating that effort that you're putting in. And if that individual isn't mirroring that effort, then you need to cut them out. Easier said than done, obviously, but it's something to work for. It's something to work towards, is that empowerment of yourself first. Getting the touch, getting the desires that you need. Are you feeling desired? That's what you have to ask yourself, huh?
Yeah, and it was interesting. I'm reading the chat, and people are like, oh, but Sages, there are true beauties within. I'm not saying that you're not a true beauty, Sag. I'm saying that the situation doesn't have true beauty anymore inside. And I'm using a line from a reality television show on ABC I was on called True Beauty, when they fucking looked at me and been like, you haven't been able to show us this, so we're looking for it. It's like, but true, it's like some line Vanessa, well, now Lachey, then Manillo goes and looks at me and says, but true beauty lies from within. Forgot the other part of it because it was like, ugh. Ugh. Want to make that clear. Taurus, so it's Virgo's last. Have you ever played Moo Moo Meadows on Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Moo Moo Meadows. Moo Moo Meadows. All right, Taurus, you know that you are in a time where trying to figure out. There's a lot of things that you're trying to figure out in love, and there's a lot of options. Believe it or not, there's a lot of options. The ninth house is popping right now. Your third house is popping with a Mercury retrograde, so you almost don't know what you're like. I don't know. I'm looking around. It's like it's like you're looking at a fucking spinning wheel. It's like, what the fuck? And oh, here's Mars in the 12th. Yeah, this is the subconscious issue. This is like the issue of you are in, when it comes to love right now, it's like you are trying so hard to think that there's a certain belief system and a certain thing in your mind of how things should look, but Spirit's saying, fuck you. No, it's not. Like, there's things that are divine, things that are not divine. And this is not some fucking crazy fucking crossword puzzle of love. Like, love is not a crossword puzzle, Taurus. I know that you have values and you're sticking to your values, but maybe some of those values are delusionized by things that you are doing to escape actually the deeper parts of intimacy, South Node and Sag, and Jupiter's retrograde in your fucking 9th house. That, like, you're not opening up the doors of like the intimacy the way that fucking you want to get something great in your life. It's like you're not willing to make the big fucking radical changes. You'd rather stay frozen in kind of this like, oh no, like I'll just like keep playing the crossword puzzle more. Will you give me another one, please? Hey, Alex Trebek, I know we already went through 200, 400, 500, 600, 800, and 1,000. Do you think I can get a daily double? Another one? No. How many more scratchers are you going to fucking scratch, Taurus? Until you fucking realize that it's like 1 out of a cajillion. And because if you look at love that way, you're going to fucking be scratching that fucking scratcher fucking a long fucking time. Six of Pentacles upright. It's about fair exchange. And I think that, you know what? It's about realizing for you that the fair exchange that you must give is, you know, there's always the coins that are involved with this. It is the charity case. Are you a charity case? Are you obsessed with people that are charity cases and you're just trying to fix them and that's what you're looking for? I think that, you know, this is about an understanding that, you know, you have a lot of great things to give, but you also need to make sure that you have found people that have other great things to give with you. Because it's almost like you like to put yourself into the power position here. I always like this card because in love, it's almost like you want the power to be like, I have control of everything. And these people fucking will get what I want because they're charity cases. And I fucking am the one delivering everything they need. You almost like the needy person. You almost want the person who doesn't have a house, so you give them a house. You almost want the person who doesn't have a car, so you can always give them a ride. This control thing, because it's the fear of you having to change your world for love. Oh, you got the Uranus card, and you're not a genius. You're dumb when it comes to love right now. That's your challenge. You think that you have mastered the crossword puzzle, and I bet you thought that the Rubik's Cube was fucking easy too. Oh, yeah, okay. And especially since Uranus is in your own sign, I think that this is your own ego and your own like crazy. You've turned love into a fucking crazy thing instead of it being this beautiful, natural, harmonized, just fuck yeah thing. Like, it's like not a fucking AI. You're an AI robot. Servicing. At McDonald's. Here's your Big Mac meal. Oh, you want to kiss me? I'm an AI robot. I don't know what that means. I have to process that. I have to process it too much. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. What are you doing out there? Fucking just working hard in the fields and not getting any return back. Focus on being like, damn, there's a return right here. I'm going to have to work for it. But it's not negative work. It's positive work. It's got that feeling when you do something and you're like, fuck yeah, this is worth it. There's something about Taurus is still thinking about some past person that they have to go fix. I'm sorry, you can't fix this person. You got to let it go. Even though you tell people you thought you let it go, you haven't let it go. And I think that, you know, you got the Six of Wands in reverse. So, yeah, you know what? The genius in you is love is not some victorious thing. It's not victory. It's not some fucking game. It's not some fucking like, I fucking am victorious. I found love finally. Like, it's not some fucking major quest either that you figure out and that you have to also disconnect from and reprocess. Like, you know, that's Uranus. Like, let me fucking microscope this thing and let me disconnect for a second and put on my fucking gloves and put on my fucking suit and let me look at the microscope. Like, no, You're not going to be victorious doing that. And you're not going to be victorious unless you come from a place of like, it's not about charity. It's about balance of like, I have things to give just as much as you do, instead of you taking on charity cases or you being the charity case, because Tauruses can do that too. Obsession. Wow. Yeah, you are. You're looking for the person who's obsessed with needing everything the way that you want it to look like for you, instead of you. And then you could also be obsessed with somebody who is unable to deliver that, but it's like giving you some sort of power trip. Why keep taking the charity? You're addicted to fucking like the lower vibrational energies of somebody or those kind of people, because for some reason you get off on that because you have control. You pulled the strength card. You need to have the strength to go actually to what is actually sustainable and will build you and will give you something in return, instead of building things and putting all your strength into things that you already know. It's almost like you know it's not going to work, so you fucking do it anyway. And then right when you think it's going to work, you're like, oh, it'll work, right? It's like you already knew at the beginning it wouldn't work because you were afraid to go to the things that you have to have strength to. That's like, fuck, this is going to be some work, but I'm going to get the great return. And work is not love. It's the work of actually like enjoying something beautiful and great, instead of these weird charity cases that you have control over. Mars, 11th house, Libra. Yeah, I think that this is hard. Mars in Libra is a difficult one in the 11th. It's like, you need to stop being the fixer. You need to stop being the one that's here to save the fucking day. Like, what about somebody coming into your life and fucking being willing to save a little bit of the day and actually be fair and actually like help push you into the world that you want to be in, instead of you always pushing somebody into the world that you want your world to look like and you want their world to look like yours. That's fucking the issue. But they're not strong enough to push themselves in the world, so you're pushing them into the world, and then they're like, I don't want this world, and then they leave. It's like, hello. I'm doing these for the last 2 seconds. Trust. Look at that. You have trust issues, intimacy issues, sex issues. Called it out.
Yeah, it's not your job to force any situation. If an individual doesn't want to partake in what you're putting out there, if an individual doesn't want to appreciate what you have and who you are, then you gotta leave that shit where it is. Because they don't deserve you. They don't deserve your time. They don't deserve the effort that you're going to put in that relationship.
No,
they don't.
And you're not a Virgo, Taurus.
No, you're not.
But Taurus, you're not a Virgo. Virgos. Last sign. Well, the Virgo love house is popping, but it's Capricorn and it's squaring over to your 8th house. Woo! Intensity. And then you've got this opposition to Cancer, the 11th house. So, you know, a lot like how I was talking with Taurus about the AI thing. Like, don't get all AI. I know that you're emotionally trying to understand how to be pure and to have the ultimate like standard of what we call love, but there is a standard. But I would say that maybe that you're having to redefine the standard by actually seeing if it's fucking passionate or not, because just having the look of how a love relationship should look is one thing. But that doesn't deliver passion. It's like an actor. Are you acting? Are you a good actor for the part for love, but you're not willing to actually ever be that in real life? They always say the best actors, especially the villains, right, aren't afraid to go there in their real life a little bit. It's because most actors that suck can never be a villain. You know why? Because they're too afraid to ever show their shadow side. They're too afraid to go into the shadows. That's Mars and Chiron in your fucking 8th. You're afraid to go into the shadow. You're afraid of it. You're afraid of the deep, enriching, passionate intimacy. And guess what? Virgos are freaks in the sheets and don't show that in fucking real life. because that 8th house is secret, but it's the identity. You don't want your identity as a pure Virgo to show the freak in the sheets. But that's also the glue that combines everything and gives you power. So that's a conundrum when you get into these relationships where you put the facade. It's just like here at this, like, I'll be honest with you. We're on a TV set, right? So what do you think of, like, this is a facade. This is just a fucking 2x4s and shit up with some fucking wood painted. Behind this is a fucking end of the warehouse. So it might look good in the front, but is there passion? Is there intimacy? Is there depth? Is there glue? Is there more behind this? Or is it just an empty space? Well, you pulled the Emperor. Whoa. All right. Number one, this is you having to take your power and your power of defining the life that you really want. And it takes a lot. The Emperor doesn't just get there by blood, right? Like a king does. The Emperor gets everybody on his team and he goes to war. He's not only a king, but he's the Emperor, right? He's also the warrior and a battler. And I guess you could say he's all parts. You have to encompass all parts of yourself and make sure that in love right now that you can do that. But if you're too afraid to step into the power of that in all aspects as it takes, well, then you can never really, step into that power. Your challenge is the yod. So, God's pointing a destiny to go to. But it's an inconvenient destiny because it's going to be odd angles. You're going to feel like, it's places that take you into odd spaces, odd angles, odd weird things, but it's the destined place to go. But it's almost like you're afraid to do anything that's different or odd or not in your standard rule book or in your standard way, Virgo. And I'm here to tell you that that's the problem. You keep doing everything the same fucking way all the time and you think that you're going to get fucking Disneyland, and Disneyland ain't coming fucking when you keep trying to find it on Chop in Seattle. Chop Street. You pulled the Fool reversed. Oh, this is where you're going to see the part of yourself where you've just fooled yourself so much that you have not stepped into destiny because you have been afraid to step into your destiny powerfully, and by being uncomfortable and going in the odd positions to take you in the place that you're not supposed to go. You pulled the Hangman reverse. Get yourself out of these weird situations in yourself or with people that are not destined for you, that you're wasting your time with, that make you feel stupid because you're not getting any power. They're not showing the power you want, or you're trying to get them on your team, or you're trying to this is like, you need to realize the power you have to have the real happiness and love in your life, and stop getting yourself stuck in these positions where you're too afraid to fucking face the insecure aspects of yourself of, oh, this is going to be weird, but it's destined for me to go here. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to have to go through these weird spaces. I'm uncomfortable with that. Oh, you know what? Uncomfort is the only place towards comfort. Fated to suffer. So, that's your issue. And look at the fucking apple showed up by the creepy old fucking hag. To Snow White, to the Emperor. It's like you feel like you're fated to suffer the power that you have for love. That you're not willing to see. You're just willing to take crap. You're willing to take shit. You might even be willing to take shit from a partner that's fucking trying to fucking take your energy away. I think that you're afraid to face the power of yourself, but I think you're also afraid to face the power of you settling things straight with certain relationship situations right now. That you would feel like the fool, or you would feel like that's uncomfortable. That's 8th house. You need to sink your teeth in. You need to fucking get a little scorpionic here. That's what we got Craig up in this bitch. You pulled the Wheel of Fortune with the Fool reversed. So when you accept that you've been the dumb fool, then the wheel will turn. But if you're going to be in denial and say that you're okay and you're not a fool and you're not stupid and you're not going to be accepting of the fate that you are fated to suffer, because you're not going to step into your greatness, you're not going to step into your destiny, you're not going to unplug yourself from some certain aspects here that are just fucking not worth even your time and not worth your power, and that you're just like, I have to accept this bullshit. I have to accept. No, it's more like you're choosing to suffer yourself because you're not willing to go to the places that are having you go to places you've never been before. And that's what the Wheel of Fortune wants you to do. Turn the page to a place you've never been before to find fortune. No, I don't want to do that. I want to fucking stay right here the way it is. I want to keep doing it the same way. I want the wheel to keep spinning the same way. And you pulled Stormy. Ooh. Stormy Daniels.
Stormy.
You know what? It's through the storms that we find our greatest moments in our life. Don't be afraid to go into the storm. You might actually get out alive of the Truman Show. It is the 10th house Taurus moon. That's what I was born with. You can have so much better. Why would you fuck with the fucking small shit? Don't fuck around with bullshit. Don't fuck around with, getting all emotional over things that are not fucking that great, that don't know how to have sensuality, no, fucking take some control in a situation and be like, you know what? I want the best feeling. And if you don't offer that to me, goodbye. I don't ever fucking put myself through some situation that's like, you don't want to show me your best feelings? Well, goodbye. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm moon in the 10th in Taurus. It's an exalted moon that you got this week in the 10th, which means, wow, it's exalted in a position to where it's public. You're afraid of actually the public part of your love life too, and owning that. It's a fear, moon in the 10th. Trust me, especially in Taurus. But when you step into the public and you showcase your true feelings and your true emotions, or I've had to showcase my love in magazines and on television shows, and my divorce is public and all this crazy shit. But I don't even think that's going to stop me from fucking still feeling greatness in life. No. I love you all very much. And I turn it to Craig to finish off this last part here.
I would just say, do not be afraid of any storm that comes your way, because you have infinite power and infinite potential to weather any storm, to get through any situation that is put in front of you. You have that power as long as you have the courage to actually stand there, take it, push forward, and fight through that. Fight through the change, because change is inevitable. It can be scary, can feel extremely overwhelming at times, but you have the power. And we're all going to get through this. So at the end of the day, show love, spread love, baby. That's what it's all about.
Yep, it's all about that. Spreading that love. We all love you here at High Vibe. Thank you so much for all the support. We got spiritual dance music. That'll be, of course, Tuesday. We've got, of course,
Taco Tuesday.
And we're doing a Taco Tuesday spiritual dance music. And we are also doing, actually, Ann is in, we got a new docu coming out. Make sure that you've watched the first documentary about King James and the understanding of demonology and the King James Bible. It's on highvibe.tv for free, and it's on my YouTube. You can find it on my YouTube. But the second series of documentaries coming out, I think this one we are going into Civil War. Not only just America's Civil War stuff, but actually the English Civil War with kings that get his heads chopped off and so forth. If you know the stories, we'll teach them to you to understand also the astrology behind them as well. And is definitely amazing. And so that's getting recorded this week. We got... what else is going on here at High Vibe? You should just be joining. I got all the dailies up all the time. I got all the weekly sun signs. We got that show. We got spiritual dance music. We got, of course, Deep Astrology. Last week, Deep Astrology was badass. If you wanted always that badass where you see every single chart, you should be on highvibe.tv, because you only get the full show if you are part of highvibe.tv. Oh. And on the app or the website. We got anything else this week? There's something else. Oh, actually, Maya here at High Vibe just finally got all these amazing zodiac prints for my new set that's in the lounge here. So my new set's almost done. And actually, the chairs have been on a Greyhound bus rolling down Highway 41 for like almost a month. But supposedly we were supposed to get it before July 15th. Patience.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Anyway, love you all very much. Please spread this video far and wide during this time. And of course, thank you so much for being a part of highvibe.tv. And of course, if you're here on the YouTube of the Leo King, I appreciate all the support for almost 10 years. It's going to be 9 years this December on this YouTube channel alone. And if you've been supporting me since back in the day, before then, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Love you, Craig.
Yep.
We love all you.
And thank you to everyone who sent us those amazing gifts today.
And yes,